from January 1 to March. In just 3 months, actually not even a full 3 months, January, February and March, within this short time, around 7,64,000 plus worth of sales has already happened, which is honestly very good. Now see, last year Amazon generated around $637.96 billion in revenue, which is more than 10.9% growth compared to previous years. And the interesting part is this, out of the total revenue Amazon generates, around 68% comes from third-party sellers, meaning sellers like you and me. So you might be an IT employee or a new college student, and you might be looking for a business that you can start along with your job or even while studying in college. And once that business starts generating income, you may start thinking about quitting your job and moving into full-time entrepreneurship. You must have already heard about Amazon FBA through YouTube videos, but you might be confused where to start and how to start. So that is why, being an Amazon seller myself since 2017, and after working with many people and helping them successfully launch their products on Amazon, I am creating this video. This is going to be a complete course on Amazon FBA ads for both the India and the USA marketplaces. Now in this video, there are a total of 11 chapters. The first chapter is about requirements. The second chapter is about the registration process, meaning how to register, whether it is for the India or the USA marketplace. In the next chapter, I will explain what private labeling and wholesale mean. After that, we will cover product research and how to select the right product. Then the next chapter is about sourcing suppliers, how to correctly find the right suppliers for your product. After that comes shipping products and import-export, meaning how to send your products directly from suppliers to Amazon FBA. And if you want to import or export, how exactly you can do that. I will explain everything clearly in this course. Then comes in creating listings, how you can list your product properly on the Amazon platform. The next chapter, which is now a very important word, is about ranking your product, how to rank your product on an Amazon's first page thing and turn it into an added asset so that your main work is just to keep it in stock. Then we move to Amazon sponsored ads, also called PPC, how you can bring more sales consistently for your product using Amazon ads. After that, we have the reviews and feedback system, how to get more reviews for your product, and I will share the exact strategies that I personally use to get a lot of reviews on my own products. Then comes giveaways and influencer marketing, strategies that most beginners are not using and don't even know about. And I'm going to explain all of them in this video. And in the last chapter, we will talk about building a digital asset, how you can build a strong digital asset using an e-commerce platform. So in every chapter, I will explain everything step by step with the best strategies that you will not find anywhere else. And I say this with full confidence, this one course is more than enough for you. So let's start your Amazon FBA business, and that is why watch this video carefully till the end also. But before starting this course, I want to address one important question and confusion that stays in the mind of many beginners. Honestly, I also had the same doubt when I was about to start. In fact, if you notice, every year on YouTube, you will always find at least one video saying that Amazon FBA is dead. And this thought automatically comes into a beginner's mind while starting a business, that the business I am going to start, does it really have potential or not? And if we specifically talk about this Amazon FBA is dead or topic, then what are the reasons behind this question coming into our mind? Definitely, competition comes first, then market saturation, and then we start thinking, are big sellers already dominating the market? And is there any opportunity left for new sellers or not? So when we consider all these things, what happens is that negative thoughts start coming into our mind. Should I really do this business or not? And we keep overthinking, and this actually now creates a problem in taking action. This happens to many beginners. In fact, it happened to me as well, because when I first came to know about this opportunity, selling products through an e-commerce platform like Amazon, I also considered all these same reasons. That is why I almost wasted 1 full year before actually starting. But before considering things like competition and saturation, we first need to understand human psychology. In fact, this thought that comes into our mind, whether the business we are going to do is good or not, this does not happen only with Amazon FBA. It happens with every single business. And very often, some other business looks better than the one we are planning to do. This is called shiny object syndrome. In online business, this is a very commonly used term. If you search on YouTube, you will find many videos on shiny object syndrome. This syndrome is one of the major reasons why many beginners never start any business at all. Not just online business, so any business. And because of this syndrome, people waste a lot of time. Even I experienced this every time I try to start a new business. So when I decided to start a business, the first thing I considered was potential. For example, what is the total population? How many internet users are there? And how fast it is growing? What is the year-on-year growth? That is why even at the beginning of this video, I shared a metric, how much e-commerce sales are increasing year after year. And if you Google it, you will easily find the data. At present, e-commerce is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And in the future, it will become a $100 trillion industry. So that already tells you a lot. So definitely, new sellers will always have opportunities because big sellers cannot launch every single product. Even if you consider me, when I started my business, I used to launch a new product every 3 to 6 months. But now I hardly launch even one product because maintaining cash stock for existing products is very important. And this happens with every big seller. There are cash flow issues, and priority always goes to keeping already selling products in stock. Because of this, many products that are in high medium demand and in a growing stage zone are ignored by big sellers. So definitely, to fulfill this growing demand, new sellers have to step up. And one simple rule is anything that has competition is worth doing. In fact, if you look at it properly, there is more competition in jobs. For your job, there is always someone else ready to take that position. So all these things I had already considered when I decided to start my e-commerce business. And today, after doing multiple businesses in my entrepreneurship journey, I clearly understand this. I have also read this in many books and watched many videos explaining why this happens. That is why I decided to explain this in this video. Now you already know what you need to do. Think about this. Have you ever noticed that two people start a business with the same strategy and the same information, but only one person becomes successful and the other does not? Why does that happen? I will explain that now. The one thing that separates a successful person from an ordinary person is that mindset. That is why mindset is extremely important. And along with that, having a clear purpose and is also very important. For what purpose are you starting this business? You must first decide and clearly define that. I personally started this business to achieve financial freedom and to build a business that gives me time freedom and location freedom. And with the time I save, I can create multiple businesses. That is why when you start any business, you should not think that you will do only that one business forever. If you look at my journey, you already know this. I started with Amazon FBA area, and along with that, I started YouTube, sir, my Naya creator business, my paid programs, agency services, and in fact, I even built my own Naya product research tool. I was able to create all of this because my mindset was clear. I knew that I am an entrepreneur, not just an Amazon seller. So my tip for you is very simple. When you are starting an Amazon business, decide why you are starting it. Obviously, you want net time, location, and financial freedom so that you can create multiple income streams. If you observe any successful entrepreneur, you will see the same pattern. They first build one strong business that generates major income, and then they use that income to create multiple income streams. That is why they become successful in a short period of time. And to achieve that, in my opinion, Amazon FBA is one of the best business models because most of the work can be outsourced, meaning you can invest of less timely. Of course, like every business, this also has no pros and cons. But if your resources are limited, meaning you have a low investment and a little to no marketing knowledge, and you are starting from zero, for example, if you are a college student or an IT employee who knows nothing about business, then this business makes sense. I always say in my videos, when you are at a level 1, you should do a level 1 business. You cannot do a level 10 business. For example, if you look at the big entrepreneurs like Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, you cannot imitate the businesses they are doing because those require a huge investment and experience which you do not have. So first, you need to gain experience through businesses like e-commerce and Amazon. Then you can use that experience to scale and create bigger opportunities. If I compare this with my one creator business, I literally made videos for many years without any profit. But after several years, I got the reward, and it was one huge reward because by then I had built a nice strong personal brand too. But with a business like Amazon FBA, it is different. Within a few months, you can build a business and start making profit. But yes, it also has a limit. So every business has its own pros and cons. Many times on YouTube, you see many business opportunities and you get confused about which one to choose. The truth is most businesses work, but based on your resources and your experience, you have to decide which business is right for you. Once you consider that properly, you will automatically get your answer, which business you should start first. So now you understand what your purpose is, what your mindset should be say, and as to why you want to do Amazon. Now I will explain each chapter step by step, so please follow carefully. First of all, necessary requirements. As you already know, for this business, you need high capital. If you want to start in the Indian marketplace, you need somewhere around 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees to start the business. And for the USA marketplace, you need around 3 to 4 lakh sets. Now, many beginners keep asking me on Instagram. They ask, can I start with low investment? And some people even assume that they will start with low investment first, and once they get results, they will invest more and make more profit. But that is not how it works. What I want to clearly say is that if you have one low investment, then wait, collect the investment first, do a job or do freelancing, but start this business only after collecting the right investment. Because what actually happens is 90% of people fail in this business only because they do not start with the right investment. See, you are doing the Amazon FBA business to create an asset nice on an e-commerce platform. So when your product reaches the first page, your main job becomes restocking. For example, if you are getting 300 sales per month, then you order that 1000 to 2000 units. And for the next 3 to 6 months, you earn income from that business semi-passively. Then when the stock is about to finish, you restock the product, and in this way you had passively make money from it. But this does not happen automatically. No business is passive from day one. To make it passive, your product must rank on the first page. Now understand this clearly. If you think of starting with low investment, meaning you order only 10 units or 50 units of a product just to check whether you get sales or not, you will get no sales at all. When you list your product, it stays on the size last page because Amazon is a just search engine based platform. Since your product is on the last page, you will not get any sales. To get sales, you must bring your product to the first page, and to bring it to the first page, you need to sell a certain number of units. If you do not even have those units in stock, you will never know whether your product is good or not. And even if your product somehow reaches the first page, if you do not have enough stock to support sales, you will go out of stock. And Amazon does not like products that go out of stock repeatedly. So definitely your product will not stay on the first page. So in the end, you will not get any results. And because of this reason, many people quit shop. In fact, a lot of people quit only because of this mistake. That is why when you start this business, you must start with the right investment was, as I said, for the Indian marketplace on at least 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees. And if you want to start to in the USA marketplace, at least 3 to 4 lakhs. Because just to create an LLK, you need around $400. And the USA marketplace is very competitive. It is not like India. In the USA, around 90% of the total population are internet users. So you can imagine the potential is very high, but at the same time, competition is also very high. To compete with those sellers and bring your product to the first page and make it an asset, you must also keep a separate marketing budget. In the USA, sellers get 50 to 100 reviews within 1 or 2 weeks by running influencer marketing, promoting through content creators, and doing giveaways. So you also need to spend at that level to compete. Only then can you survive in that marketplace. That is why I am saying all this under requirements, because if your requirements are not right, you cannot start the business properly. Of course, you can technically start the business, but to get results from the business and to continue it long term, you must start it your right way. That is why I strongly recommend to start with the right investment. And now coming to high documentation, it is very simple. You need ID proof and address proof such as Aadhaar card and PAN card. Using these, you can create all the required documentation and start your business, whether it is for the Indian marketplace or the USA marketplace. For the un-USA marketplace, if you are creating an LLK, these two documents are sufficient. And again, for the un-Indian marketplace, if you are applying for the GST, you also need ID proof and address proof, which are Aadhaar card and PAN card. So now you understand the requirements, and now we move to our next chapter, which is the registration process here. First, if you want to do this Amazon FBA business in the USA, then you need to create an LLK on. As I mentioned earlier, it costs around $400. For this, you need documents like your ID proof, Aadhaar card and PAN card, using which you can apply for an LLC. Again, you cannot apply on your own. You need to take the help of a third-party service. I have already made a separate video on this topic. In the LLC process, basically, the first step is name approval, meaning you need to submit the company name you want. After that, you receive the employer identification number, EIN. Overall, it takes around 30 to 45 days to complete the LLC process. Only after that can you use the LLC business I do to register your under Amazon seller account. Now, if we talk about India, you can start either as a shop proprietorship or as a company. Proprietorship means not sole proprietorship. You simply use your individual PAN card and apply for a success to one, and that completes your proprietorship firm registration. You can also take MSME registration, though in most cases it is not required. If we talk about starting through a company, then you have options like private limited, OPC, one-person company, LLP, limited liability partnership, and even public limited company. In all these cases, you are creating a one separate legal entity where you get a one separate PAN card, and using that PAN card, you can create GST registration and a bank account and operate the business as a separate entity. The biggest benefit of this structure is limited liability. Again, this is a vast topic, but to keep it simple, you can start your business with a proprietorship once your annual turnover increases. For example, when it crosses the 75 lakhs or 1 crore per year, you can convert your proprietorship into a private limited company. This is exactly what I also did once with my own business. So in proprietorship, basically, you use your individual PAN card and apply for GST side. After getting GST registration, you then register for an Amazon seller account. After that, you need to do Sara additional place of business registration, meaning the Amazon FBA warehouses in your state must be added to your GST as additional places of business. This process is commonly called APB registration. Next comes IEC registration, import-export code. If you want to import products or sell your products in the USA, meaning you want to export from India, then you need both GST and IEC registration. I will explain how to apply for all these registrations step by step later. But before that, many people have doubts about us GSTers. One common question is, do we need a shop or office to apply for GST? The answer is that no, you can apply for GST from your home address. In fact, the GST registration that I am currently using is also registered at my home address. For address proof, you need an electricity bill and an Hanoki. For example, my house is not in my name, it is in my mother's name, and the electricity bill is also in her name. So in that case, I created a NOC between me and my mother. This is called a no objection certificate. You can get this NOC created at any local typist near the court or even at a cyber cafe. It needs to be on stamp paper. If the house is in your own name, then you only need to submit the ownership document, such as the sale deed along with the electricity bill, since everything is already in your name. So if the property, the owner is not in your name, you submit a NOC. That is how you can apply for GST. Again, I want to clearly say, you do not need a separate office or shopping. You can apply for GST using your home address by itself. I will explain the complete registration process step by step next. So first of all, the GST website is gst.gov.in. On this website, you need to scroll down and under taxpayers, click on register now. Here you need to select new registration. There is also an option called temporary reference number. Once you fill this section, you receive another TRN number, which stands for temporary reference number. Here you need to select that taxpayer as. Some people ask, I do not file income tax, so should I still select taxpayer? There is no connection between income tax and GSTI. So simply select taxpayer, whether you file income tax or not. Next, select the non-state law. In this case, I'm applying GST for one of our clients. If you follow me, you already know that I personally do Amazon FBA account. Along with that, we also provide Don't For You services, where we handle account registrations for clients such as GST registration, FBA registration, seller account registration, IEC registration, and more. We also help with product research, supplier sourcing, account management, and SNA advertising. So for this service, I was applying GST for a client, and that is why I thought, why not make a video on this? So here select the hand state. In this case, the state is Karnataka. After that, select the district, which is Bangalore Urban. Next is legal name of the business. Here it is clearly mentioned. As mentioned in PAN, so in a proprietorship, as I explained earlier, you use your individual PAN card and your own name becomes the legal name. If you are applying as a company like private limited, LLP, public limited, or OPC, one-person company, you will have a separate PAN card, and whatever name is on that PAN card, you enter that name here. For Amazon business, I personally suggest that when you are starting, you should start as a proprietorship using your own individual PAN card. So here I will enter the legal name. Next is PAN permanent account number. PAN is and has alphanumeric number. After that, enter the email ID as a go. And OTP will be sent on to this email ID and mobile number. So make sure you enter the NI correct details. So then enter the NI mobile number and the NI CAPTCHA. Now you can see that the NI TRN has been generated. This is also an alphanumeric number. With this NI TRN, we can proceed further with the registration. So I click on proceed. Here the temporary reference number is automatically filled. After this, you will again receive an carry OTP on your email and mobile number. You can enter any one OTP and proceed. Now you can see my saved applications. Here click on action and then click on edit. You will see multiple tabs. I will explain them one by one. First is called business details. Then promoters and partners. After that, authorized signatory, authorized representative, principal place of business, additional place of business, goods and services, state specific information, Aadhaar authentication, and verification. It is a simple process. Most fields is automatically filled with because we already entered details while generating the TRN like PIN number, legal name, and other information. Now you need to enter the trade name. The trade name should be one unique name and should represent your business. When doing Amazon FBA, whatever store name titles you are planning to keep, you can use that name as your trade name. Remember, the trade name does not have to be the same as your brand name. There is no such mandatory rule. You can use different brand names for different products while listing, but the trade name remains one at the top level company name. For example, Mahindra is the trade name and XUV, Thar, Scorpio are brand names. So you need to think properly before entering the trade name. Here I am just showing it for demonstration. Next is constitution of business. Here select proprietorship. Again, if you are applying using a company PAN card, you can select one private limited or the relevant option. Next, additional trade name, optional. State name, Karnataka will be auto-filled. Are you applying as a casual taxable person? Select on no name. Next is reason to obtain registration. Select on selling through e-commerce portal. To are not turn, select one e-commerce operator. That option is for platforms like on Amazon or Flipkart, not for sellers. As sellers, we select selling through e-commerce portal. You can also select interstate supplier, but selling through e-commerce portal is sufficient. Next, date of commencement of business. You can select the same date you are applying. Date on which liability to register arises. Select the same date. If you have won any existing registrations, you can mention them here. In most cases, this will be not applicable. Then click the save and continue. Next tab is promoters and partners. First name is already filled. Enter last name, father's name, select a date of birth and gender. Under identity information, select designation. Here choose the proprietor. Director identification number. is not required. Here, important point, any field marked with a red dot is mandatory. You cannot skip those. Next, enter the address details, country, pin code, state, etc. Upload the Aadhaar card by scanning it. Select yes for authorized signatory and then click save and continue. Next is authorized signatory. In most cases, now you yourself will be the authorized signatory. Select primary authorized signatory. Enter your name and select one designation, proprietor. Then click the save and continue yo. Next is authorized representative yo. If you have someone else, you can add details here. Otherwise, no need to select anything yo. You are already the authorized person. Next is principal place of business. Next, here enter your address proof details, that pin code, district, everything is now self-explanatory. Now comes in a state jurisdiction. Based on what you select here, a GST officer and officer will be assigned to you. If you are confused, they have provided a side reference link. Using that link, you can check which jurisdiction office applies to your address. In most cases, the nearest GST office is automatically assigned. Central jurisdiction will also be auto-filled. You just need to select it. Next is nature of possession of premises. If it is rented, select rented. If it is owned, select owned. If it is leased, select lease. Based on your selection, you need to upload documents. For rented property, upload my electricity bill and a rent agreement or NOC. For owned property, upload land ownership proof land and a quantico electricity bill. So after uploading one document, another upload option will appear. Next, nature of business activity. You can select retail business, or select others. For Amazon FBA, you can select hire others and type selling through e-commerce platforms such as Amazon FBA. Next is additional place of business. Do not select this now. Amazon FBA warehouses are considered more additional places of business, but you cannot add them at this stage. After GST registration, you open your ISA Amazon seller account, then complete FBA registration, and Amazon provides documents like warehouse electricity bill, lease agreement, or NOCs. Using those documents, you can later add additional place of business. I will explain that process later. I have already made videos on it. Next, click the save and continue. Next tab is goods and services. Here, search by chapter name or code word. You need to enter any 5 commodities. If you are a beginner and still in the product research phase, you can simply select a random product like a water bottle and choose its HSN code. Later, you can always update it. Next is state-specific information. You can ignore this note for Amazon FBA. Professional tax and employee details apply only to specific sectors. Next is the Aadhaar authentication. This is self-explanatory. You receive an OTP. Then comes verification. Select the state and complete verification. So friends, this is how you can apply for GST registration. If you have any questions while applying, or if any option is not clear to you, ask me in the comments of this video and I will try my best to answer your questions. So in this first step, we need to go to sellercentral.amazon.com. .insar is for the Indian marketplace and .commerce is for the USA marketplace. Here you can see that we need to click on sign up. Then click on create your Amazon account. Now enter your as a first name, then your as email ID words. After that, you need to set up a password, re-enter the password and then click on next, and as OTP will be sent to the email ID you entered. You need to enter that OTP here and click on create your Amazon account. Next, it will ask for your as mobile number. Again, an OTP will be sent to your mobile. Enter that OTP and click on continue. Now you will see welcome to selling with Amazon. Here click on get started. Next question is where is your business registered? You can sell on Amazon USA in 2 ways from India. One is by creating an LLC and the other is as a proprietorship. If you want to build a brand, do private labeling, create your own listings or do wholesaling, then basically you must create an LLC. So here if you are doing business through an LLC, select United States. If you are starting as a proprietorship, then you can select India. Here I am selecting United States. Then click on save and continue. Next question, what type of business do you have? You will see options like state-owned business, publicly listed business, C Corp, privately owned business, charity, and individual. For an LLC, you need to select privately owned business. Next, enter your Sondes business name, which is your LLC name. Here I am just entering a sample name for demonstration. Then confirm your business location and click on agree and continue. Now you will see 5 steps to complete. 1. Business information 2. Seller information 3. Billing 4. Store 5. Verification first is business information. Here enter your Anderson's business name. Then enter the company registration number. This is your LLC registration number. Next, enter the USA address that you received during your LLC registration. After entering the address, click on next. Now comes seller information. Enter your nice first name and the last name. Select your country of citizenship as you can India. Select your country of birth as you can India. Then select your date of birth. Next, select your NID proof. As you can see options like the driver's license, PAN card, passport, Aadhaar card. Passport is mandatory only if you are planning to open a USA bank account. Otherwise, Aadhaar card and PAN card are sufficient. Select a country of issue as India. Enter the ED number and expiry date if applicable. Then enter your address details. Next, confirm if you are the primary contact person. Select yeah yes no because you are the main beneficiary of the business. If you are creating the account on behalf of someone else, then you would not select this. Tick the confirmation checkbox and click next. Now comes payment information. Amazon clearly mentions that you will need a valid bank account, online banking credentials, or an bank statement, a valid credit card. You already know that if you are selling on Amazon USA, you need to pay around $39 per month. So you must link a mouse credit card, Your credit card must be an international credit card. Visa or MasterCard one is required. Now click on add a bank account. Here I am adding an Indian bank account. You can add either a savings account or a current account. Enter the bank account number, accept the confirmation and click on verify bank account. Next is card billing. Here you need to add as a valid credit card. I will quickly add one. After that comes the store section. Here enter your store name. This is the name that customers will see on Amazon. I'm entering a random name for demonstration. Next it asks, do you have a universal product code UPC? For now select not you can update this later. Next question, do you have any diversity certifications? Select not as next door. Do you own a brand? For now select not only, then click on our next. Now comes verification. Here you need to upload your Aadhaar card, your bank statement of the bank account you added. Then click on next. Now comes identity verification. You will see two options. 1. Take a photo of your face. 2. Record a video of your face. Amazon mentions that these options result in faster verification. First option is take a photo. Here click on consent. Then next and start the identity check. This process is self-explanatory. You select India as upload the ID card you selected earlier and proceed. Now I will show you the second option. Select as verify identity by recording a video of your face. Click on start identity check. Here your camera will open and you need to record a short video as instructed. Obviously I am not creating an actual account here. I am just showing you the entire process of opening an Amazon USA seller account. It is a fairly simple process. If you select individual, you will see almost the same details. And if you select private limited or LLC, you just need to enter the LLC or company information accordingly. So today in this video, I will explain how you can easily open a seller account, and that too in less than 5 minutes in the completely practically so. It is a very simple process. First of all, you need to go to thesellercentral.amazon.in. There you have to click on create an account, enter your mobile number, email ID and all the basic details and create your account. After that, I will explain the next steps in this video. Here we are actually opening a seller account for one of our clients. As you already know, we provide done for you services. In this service, we also handle Andy account registrations. For this client, we had already applied for CSS GST registration using a CF virtual address because in their state, Amazon FBA warehouse was not available. So they took the virtual address service from us. After completing their GST registration, now we are opening their seller account. As you can see, the first step now is then seller account creation. And after that, verify tax details. Here we need to enter the my 15-digit GST number. Once we enter the GST number, all the registered GST information automatically appears. After checking the details properly, we can click on continue or verify. Then we will receive another OTP. Enter that OTP, click on verify OTP and then now submit. Next comes the Amazon store name. Here you need to enter a unique name that represents your company and your products. So basically the trade name you are using in GST can be used as your store names here. You can also change it later if required. To explain it simply, the store name is the top level company name that appears inside your listings. The next brand name is different. For example, Mahindra is the top level company name and Thar, Scorpio, XUV 700 are brand names. In the same way, your store name remains one and you can keep different brand names for different products while creating listings. After entering the Amazon store name, click on save and continue now. Next is shipping preferences and pickup address. Here enter your address. You can even enter your home address say. After that, select Amazon ships. Because obviously we are doing Amazon FBA. You can skip the remaining details for now because we can review and update them later. Next is shipping fee preference. Here select here pay by yourself, which means customers will see free delivery and the shipping cost is already included in your product price. Then click on save and continue. Next is bank details. Here you need to enter your bank account details and then click on save and continue. After that comes a default product tax code, or product tax code basically means your GST rate. Every product has a different GST rate, but initially you can select as a default percentage. For example, when creating a listing, if your product falls under over 12% GST, you can select 12%. If it falls under only 5%, 12% or 18%, Amazon has specific deal codes for each GST percentage. You can select 18% for now as default. Later for each product listing, you can change the tax percentage accordingly. Next is add a product. This is not mandatory. If you are still in the product research stage, man, you can skip this step. You can always create product listings later. So this is how you can open your seller account. If you go to seller account info now, you will be able to see all your details now clearly. After that comes FBA registration, which we also call APOB registration, meaning additional place of business registration. Basically, the Amazon FBA warehouse in the state where you live needs to be added as an additional place of business in your GST. It is a very simple process, but many people unnecessarily make it complicated. I have already made multiple videos on this topic. Still, I'll explain it again in a simple way by logging into my own seller account. Here you can see this is one of my seller accounts. You can also see today's sales around 8,000 and their units sold are 13 here. I'll refresh it once again and show you. You can clearly see the sales. In fact, if you have been following me since 2019 on YouTube, and earlier I used to show my seller account frequently and give daily updates. Now mostly I upload one video per week, focusing more on strategies and educational content. Many people still ask in the comments, show sales, it gives motivation. But I personally do not like showing sales too much in YouTube videos because my YouTube channel is actually an tone educational channel where people want to learn the process here, not just see numbers. So instead of showing sales or making marketing type videos, I prefer explaining the actual strategies that we use, whether it is for our own products or for us client product launches. I explain what strategies we used and how those strategies helped achieve the result. And the response has been very good. You can see that the channel has grown quite well. Coming back to the sales, last 7 days sales are around 47,000 and in the last 30 days, sales are around 2 lakhs. This is another seller account that we use to manage client accounts under our agency services. Here you can see we manage multiple seller accounts for clients. This particular account is relatively new. It was opened last year. So far we have launched 2 products and the results are very good. I'll also show you the business reports. If we look at this year, today's orders are already 14. Let's check from January till today, 4th of March. You can see that sales are around 7,47,000. And even though this is the new seller account, the profit margin is decent, around 25 to 28% combined for both products. These products were launched in the sports and fitness category. If you follow me, you already know that sports and fitness is my favorite category. This category has mostly premium customers and any differentiation we do has a higher perceived value. Thus, the average selling price is also decent. You can see how sales are performing. Yes, usually after January, you may see some fluctuations and February also generally has a lower dip. But from Q3 and Q4, sales definitely increase. Still for a new seller account, the sales are very decent. Even now it is around at 917 and already 15 to 18 orders have come in with still 3 hours remaining in the day. So sales are good. Now I'll show you the FBA registration process. We go to the Yacht Seller Central dashboard. This seller account already has the FBA registration completed. So I'll show you one other seller account where FBA registration is not yet done. That way you'll get a clear idea of the process. Here go to sub account info now. You'll see fulfilled by Amazon, not registered. Click on that, then click here to enroll. This client is based in Karnataka. Of course, Karnataka has Amazon warehouses. Earlier it was BLR 5, but now for new sellers, Amazon assigns the BLR 7 and BLR 8 2. So BLR 7 and BLR 8 are the 2 warehouses that need to be added. There are 2 ways to do this. One is through Amazon's automated tools. The other is manual application. Here you can see options to download the consent letter, download the business solutions agreement. Once you download this, you also get supporting documents like warehouse, electricity bill, tax receipt, sale deed. Using these documents, you need to amend your GST registration and add Amazon as a new additional place of business. Once you get approval from GST, the additional place of business will start appearing in your un-GST certificate, GST 06 month. Then you upload that un-GST certificate here. Amazon reviews it and usually within 24 to 48 hours, the MyFBA registration is approved. After that, any listing you create can be sold using Amazon FBA. So after GST registration, seller account registration and FBA registration, the last step is IEC registration. This is also a very simple process. If you already have a GST, you can get your NIACA registration immediately. You just need to go to the DGFT website. Simply type DGFT on Google and you will find the website. The process is very similar to GST registration. You need to enter the same firm details, your address, legal name of the business, PAN card, Aadhaar card and recent address proofing. After submitting the details, you can download your IC immediately. The HES fee for IC registration is around 500 rupees there. Once the payment is done, you will receive your IEC registration. As of now, taking his digital signature is not mandatory for IEC registration. So this way you can complete the entire registration process required to start your Amazon FBA business. Now in this chapter, I will explain private labeling and wholesaling and what the difference between them is. Private labeling, as the name itself suggests, means you are creating your own private brand. You are building your own brand on the Amazon platform, and in fact on the entire e-commerce ecosystem. You can expand beyond Amazon, create your own website, use Instagram and other social media platforms, and grow your brand further. In private labeling, the brand belongs to you. You have full control over the brand and the product. You decide the MRP, maximum retail price. You can sell at any price you want. There is no limitation. Of course, you still need to do competitive analysis, decide your offers and plan your marketing, but that is what private labeling is. Now let's talk about wholesaling. Wholesaling means you are selling someone else's brand. For example, Sony, Apple, Samsung, Philips, Titan watches and so on. These are all existing brands. To sell their products, you need to take brand authorization, a brand license, and follow their rules and regulations. Only after that can you sell their products on e-commerce platforms like Amazon. In wholesaling, the MRP is fixed. You cannot sell above that price. Now, the major point I want to explain here is the concept of the buy box. I'll explain this with a live listing example. As you can see in this client's account, sales have already increased to around 9,000. It's 11:29 now. I had taken a short break while shooting this video, and during that time sales increased. But coming back to the example, I have opened 2 listings to explain private labeling versus wholesaling. This is a perfect wholesaling example, a Sony speaker. If we open this product listing and click buy now, you can see that one seller gets the buy box. If we click on other sellers on Amazon, you can see that 6 sellers are selling the same product. One seller is selling at 3,900 rupees, another at 3,960 rupees, another at 3,989 rupees, 3,999 rupees, and so on. All these sellers are competing with each other, but the buy box goes to the seller with the lowest price. This is the big disadvantage of wholesaling. Of course, the margin is already low because you have to sell within the MRP, and on top of that, there is no guarantee of getting the buy box. 99% of customers do not click on other sellers. They directly click buy now. Even if the same product is available at a higher price, customers will obviously prefer the lower priced seller. So what happens is, in wholesaling, the seller with higher investment gets the buy box. For example, let's say both of us are selling the same Sony speaker. I have an investment of 10 lakhs and you have an investment of 2 lakhs. I can buy larger quantities from Sony wholesalers. So I get the product at a much lower price. You buy fewer units, so you don't get the same pricing advantage. Because of that, I can list at a lower price, get the buy box, and you cannot afford to sell that low. So you lose the buy box. That is the biggest disadvantage of wholesaling. That is why I recommend wholesaling only if you have huge investment. Of course, the advantage is that the listing already exists, brand value is already built, brand recognition is already there. You don't need to run ads, you don't need to create listings, you don't need to build brand awareness. Basically, marketing effort is minimal, but if you don't get the buy box, there is no benefit. It becomes just like opening an offline store. Margins are low, sales volume may be high, but if you are not getting sales, then there is no point. That is why I do not recommend wholesaling, especially for my ideal audience, people who are starting a business from zero experience, with limited resources, limited marketing knowledge, and low investment. For such people, wholesaling is not suitable. Only when you have huge capital and very little time, then you can consider wholesaling for low margins but higher volume. Otherwise, you should focus on private labeling. In fact, even if you have high investment, I still recommend private labeling. Here you can see an example, a resistance band listing. In this listing, you will notice something important. There is only one seller. That seller is the brand owner, the one who created the listing. Yes, in private labeling, you need to create the listing, you need to do marketing, you need to run ads, you need to get initial reviews, you need to rank the product on the first page, you need to put in effort. But once you do that, you own the brand, you control the entire profit margin. In the future, you can even sell this brand to a bigger company. On Amazon, private label brands are usually sold at 1.5 times to 2 times of their annual revenue. That means you are building a real asset. So from a beginner's point of view, you should always focus on creating a private label brand on Amazon. As I said earlier, later you can explore multi-channel fulfillment, build your own website, use Instagram and social media to grow your brand, and collect customer data. Your existing customers themselves become a digital asset, which you can use to launch new brands, new product lines, and get an initial boost instantly. There are multiple ways to scale. That is why whether you are a beginner or an existing seller, you should focus on private labeling, where you are actually creating a digital asset. So imagine this, you are going fishing and you have the world's best fishing rod, the best bait, all the top class tools needed for fishing. But instead of going to a river or a lake, you go to a swimming pool to catch fish. Obviously, you are not going to catch any fish. This is exactly what happens with 99% of people who want to do Amazon FBA or e-commerce business. Whether it is Amazon FBA or Shopify, they fail for the same reason. They know all the strategies, they do account registration properly, they create a very beautiful listings, their product photography is good, they find the right suppliers, they even get products at very low cost. But their product selection itself is wrong. There is no demand for the product they select. So obviously the business will not be profitable. and they will not get any sales. Then they quit and again start searching for something else to do. That is why product research is extremely important. Now you already know about Nokia. It was once very popular and very profitable. But when they launched new products, they failed to adapt. They did not do proper research. They did not analyze competitors. While competitors were launching phones with advanced Android OS, Nokia kept launching phones with their old Symbian OS. Because of that, the company failed. Even today, Nokia phones are not very popular. Hardly anyone uses them. In fact, they later launched Android phones also, but still they could not succeed. Look at any big company. Before launching a new product, they always do competitor research. Even in the software industry, you can see this clearly. TikTok launched short form content. Then Instagram copied it with Reels. Then YouTube launched YouTube Shorts. When SUV cars became popular in India, every car manufacturer started launching SUV models. Even Samsung and Apple, who are rivals, copy each other's features. Samsung introduced many features first, like the S Pen, and Apple later adapted similar concepts in iPads. USB-C port, many hardware features. They copy after analyzing competitors. So when big companies do so much research before launching a product, you cannot afford to launch products randomly. One of the major reasons people fail is because they select a product only because it is cheap. Maybe a relative or a friend is manufacturing it and they are getting it at a lower price, so they decide to launch it. That is not how it works. First, you need to select the right product. Then you find suppliers for that product. Then you do branding, launch it as a private label brand, and create a digital asset. So that later your main job is just restocking and the business becomes semi-passive. That is why now I will first explain the criteria you need to consider while selecting a product. After that, I will explain the $1 million strategy that we have used to launch multiple successful products that generate 2 lakhs per month, 5 lakhs per month, and even 10 lakhs per month. I'll even show you products live. So first, let's look at the criteria. One, demand. The first thing is demand. When you select a product, you need to check the average monthly sales of competitors already selling that product. As a beginner, you should not launch a completely unique product. When you are a beginner, you should always select products that competitors are already selling. If you try to launch something completely unique, you are basically gambling. You cannot create demand on an e-commerce platform. You can only capitalize on existing demand. If you ever find a unique product that you think has demand, wait for competitors to enter first. There is always enough room. On Amazon, even on the first page, it is not just 1 or 2 sellers making all the sales. Sales are distributed across pages. First page gets more, second page slightly less, third page less. But still sales are distributed. So wait, analyze competitors, and then launch. For beginners, the ideal demand is around 200 to 500 sales per month. Do not select products with extremely high demand. For example, if a product is selling 1000 units per month, you will face heavy competition and need to spend a lot on marketing to rank on the first page. So for beginners, 200 to 500 monthly sales is ideal. 2. Competition. Next comes competition. Here we analyze reviews. On the first and second pages, you will often see old sellers with 1000 to 2000 reviews. That is normal. But what you need to notice is there any seller with low reviews still doing well? If yes, that seller can be imitated. As a general rule, average reviews should be below 500 to 600 for it to be a good opportunity. 3. Shipping cost. Shipping cost is also very important. As a beginner, you may negotiate unit cost with suppliers, but you cannot control shipping cost. So select products with low weight, small dimensions. I personally prefer products under 600 grams and that can fit inside a normal shoebox size. This helps keep shipping costs low. 4. Brand domination. When you search a product keyword on Amazon, the first page should not be dominated by one brand. No single brand should appear more than 3 or 4 times. 5. Brand recognition. Some products already have strong brand recognition. For example, shoes. Customers search Nike shoes, Puma shoes. Avoid such products. 6. Branding opportunity. Finally, check if the product has branding opportunity. For example, if you sell garbage bags, changing color or adding a logo will not make much difference. But in categories like sports and fitness, baby products, customers are more premium. Here, even small differentiation, better color, better packaging, logo or complementary products adds value. That allows you to stand out with fewer reviews, beat competitors, charge a higher price, increase profit margin. So this is why product research is the foundation. If you get this right, everything else becomes easier. In 1989, Honda launched its own supercar called the Honda NSX. At that time, the technology used in the NSX was extremely advanced and was actually the best in the supercar segment. Even Ferrari did not have that level of technology back then. Still, the Honda NSX failed miserably, and even today it is considered one of the biggest disasters in automotive history. The reason was not technology, but the perceived brand value and the ideal consumer. Honda had always been known for making affordable transportation vehicles, so when they suddenly tried to compete with Ferrari, customers did not accept it. In the minds of consumers, Honda was a mass market brand, not a premium supercar brand, and their ideal customers were not premium buyers. A similar thing also happened with Toyota when they launched their supercar. I'm explaining this because when you start your own e-commerce business and plan to build a 7-figure brand, especially in the US marketplace, choosing the right ideal customer is extremely important. This brings us to understanding your consumers. In the US marketplace, There are many premium customers and they are willing to spend more if your product is differentiated properly, whether it is the Indian marketplace or the US marketplace. When you search for any product on Amazon, you will always see two types of products. One is a cheaper version that attracts price sensitive customers, and the other is a premium version that attracts premium customers. If you want to build $1 million brand, you must always target premium customers. For that, you need to study what premium customers expect from a product, how they live their daily lives, and what kind of experience they want, and then create your product accordingly. For example, if you compare two similar products, the cheaper version may sell at around $15 and generate around 600 sales per month, but the total revenue will be only around $9,000. On the other hand, a premium version of the same product may sell at around $137 with only 200 sales per month, but the revenue becomes a massive $27,000, which is more than 3 times higher. That is why you should always focus on launching premium products and attracting premium customers. You already know about Nokia, which dominated the mobile phone market before 2014. But today hardly anyone uses their phones. The main reason for their downfall was that while competitors adopted advanced Android operating systems, Nokia continued using their old Symbian OS. By the time they switched to Android, they were already too late. This leads to the importance of competitive data analysis. Many beginners fail in e-commerce because they select products for emotional or illogical reasons. Some choose products because they get them cheaply from friends or relatives, some because they personally like the product, and some because they feel the product is used by everyone in every season. Many people do not even check how competitive or saturated the market is, and some try to launch completely unique products without any data. When even the biggest companies analyze competitor data before launching products, beginners cannot afford to ignore this step. Before launching any product, you must analyze competitor data such as their average monthly sales, revenue, profit, number of reviews, brand domination, and brand recognition. Some niches already have strong brand recognition where customers search directly by brand name, and competing in such niches is almost impossible. Product selection must be based on data, not gut feeling. Imagine you are driving on a straight road with grasslands on both sides filled with cows, and you suddenly see a purple cow. You will definitely stop and notice it. This is called the purple cow strategy. Many beginners select decent products but fail to differentiate them enough to grab customer attention. We are living in the attention economy, and without attention, you cannot build a 7-figure brand by selling copy-paste products. I learned this lesson from my very first product, where I realized after the first batch that my differentiation was weak, which resulted in low click-through rate and low conversion. After improving differentiation in the next batch, results improved significantly. I have also seen similar results in student case studies, where small changes in color, packaging, and adding complementary products helped generate over 57 lakhs in revenue within a year, with nearly 28% profit margin. There are many ways to differentiate a product, such as better design, branding, complementary products, or digital add-ons, but none of this matters if you do not launch the product properly and turn it into an asset. You choose Amazon because it allows automation through FBA, where picking, packing, delivery, invoicing, and customer service are handled by Amazon, allowing you to focus on marketing. Once your product reaches the first page and crosses 15 to 20 reviews, it becomes an asset, and your main job is only to restock. However, this does not happen automatically and requires a proper launch strategy. One of the biggest advantages of Amazon is that it does not care about your past brand history. It only cares about sales velocity. You need to match the sales velocity of first page competitors to rank. Just like on YouTube, where people click videos based on thumbnails and titles, on Amazon, click-through rate plays a huge role in ranking and turning your product into a long-term asset. Now I will show you product research live, but before that, I want to explain the steps involved. Usually product research has 2 main steps. The first step is idea generation, and the second step is analysis. Idea generation can happen from anywhere. You can randomly come across a product and feel that it has potential and that you can sell it. When you become an e-commerce entrepreneur, almost every product you see feels like it has potential, and you start thinking that maybe you can sell it. That is idea generation. There are many different methods for idea generation, which I will show you live later. The second step, which is analysis, is the most important part, and this is where many people make mistakes. Whatever product you select, you must analyze it properly. Based on the criteria I already explained, average sales, average reviews, you need to decide whether the product actually meets those criteria or not. If you are a beginner, this analysis is absolutely mandatory. It is very simple. For any product you select, you must check whether it satisfies the required conditions or not. For analysis, you can use tools. Of course, there are many tools available in the market, but here I will use our Pro Leverage tool to show you. Pro Leverage is a simplified tool that makes analysis very easy. You get 10 free searches initially, which I will mention in the description. It also has monthly, 6-month, and yearly plans. First, I will show you how the tool works and how you can analyze products using it. I will take the same product example that I used earlier to explain private labeling and wholesaling. Any product that you feel has potential can be analyzed using the Pro Leverage tool. For example, let's say the product is a resistance band. and you feel it might be a good product, to analyze it, you simply need to copy the product's ASIN, which you can find in the item detail section or directly from the URL. After that, go to the Pro Leverage tool, select the correct marketplace, .in or .com since the tool works for both, and paste the ASIN. Then click on search. Once you do that, the results will appear. You will be able to see the product rating, estimated monthly sales, monthly revenue, and how much Amazon is charging in terms of referral fee and closing fee. Based on this data, you can decide whether the product is good or not. You can also analyze keywords. For example, if you search for the keyword resistance band in the Indian marketplace, you can see the search volume, which in this case is around 4,99,000, indicating very good demand. You can also see the top competitors. When you look at reviews, you may notice that although the sales, revenue, and profit margin are good, the competition is very high. Based on this analysis, you can decide whether the product is worth entering or not. This is the analysis process. Pro Leverage offers monthly, 6-month, and yearly plans, and when you use it for the first time, you get 10 free searches to analyze products. In the monthly plan, you also get a 20% discount if you use the coupon code Ecom20. I recommend that you first use the free searches to test and understand the tool. If you are satisfied, then you can consider the monthly plan and later upgrade to the 6-month or yearly plan, which also comes with additional features and around 30% discount. The link will be in the description. You can check it out. You can even use the Pro Leverage tool on your mobile phone. The main reason we built this tool was to simplify product research. Many existing tools are very complicated, confusing for beginners, and charge unnecessarily high prices for features that are not actually useful. That is why this tool is simplified and priced very affordably compared to other tools. So make use of the free 10 searches, analyze whatever product ideas you have in mind, check monthly sales, monthly revenue, Amazon fees, and decide whether the product is good or not. This will give you a clear idea. Now, after this, I will show you product research live. See, every category is good. If a seller is selling a product in a particular category, they are obviously not selling it without profit. But from a beginner's perspective, things are different because beginners usually have limited investment, limited resources, and limited marketing knowledge. Because of that, there are certain categories that are more helpful to kickstart the business. Before explaining those categories, I showed you 2 product images earlier. If you look at both products and ask yourself which one you would be willing to buy at a higher price, the answer is obvious, the product in image 1. That is because its branding looks better, and this is a very important thing beginners need to understand. Every product is branded in some way because it will always have a name on Amazon. You have to give it a title, but from a human psychology perspective, when a product looks different and the logo is clearly highlighted, people automatically feel that it is a branded product and they assign higher value to it. You may have heard many YouTubers say that you should sell high quality products. Of course, quality is important, but quality alone has a limit. To increase the perceived value of your product beyond that limit, you must build branding, meaning you must differentiate it. This can be done through color changes, better logo design, premium packaging, or by adding complementary products. However, before doing all this, you must understand your ideal customer, because branding only works when it connects with the right audience. There are some categories where branding does not really matter. For example, garbage bags or tissue paper. No matter how much you change the color, add a logo, or improve the design, customers do not care. At the end of the day, it is a garbage bag and people will buy whichever is cheaper. That is why identifying the right category and the right customer is very important. Based on this understanding, I will now explain some categories that beginners can explore. The first category is office products. With work from home increasing, especially after lockdown, many people are setting up office spaces at home. These customers usually look for long-term products with good quality and strong branding. They also have purchasing power. So office products have many subcategories that beginners can explore. Next is health and personal care. Many people avoid this category because they think certifications are mandatory. That is not always true. There are many subcategories where certifications are not required. In fact, around 10 to 12 months ago, we launched a product for one of our done-for-you clients in the health and personal care category, a travel bidet or portable bidet. It was targeted toward travelers and adventure enthusiasts, and the product performed extremely well because we entered at the right time with the right opportunity. Then comes the baby category. As you know, baby products attract premium customers because parents never want to buy cheap products for their babies. However, competition is high in this category and marketing costs are also higher. PPC bids are usually expensive, and sometimes importing is mandatory because local suppliers may not be available. So investment requirements are higher, but the rewards are also higher. With the right marketing knowledge and proper investment, this category can generate stable long-term income. Another strong category is sports and fitness, which is personally my favorite. I have launched multiple successful products in this category, especially resistance bands and home gym equipment. During lockdown, when gyms were closed, demand for home workout equipment increased massively. Even now, this category is performing well. Sports and fitness has many subcategories, especially home gym equipment. PPC costs are higher, but average selling prices are also higher, usually above 999 rupees. So profit margins can reach around 30%. However, you need to put in effort to rank products on the first page. All these are top level categories, and within them, there are many subcategories you need to explore. The more time you spend on product research, the more good product ideas you will find. That is why I want to tell you something important before showing live product research. Product research is time consuming and frustrating. Sometimes you find a good product but fail to find a good supplier. That is why you must give it enough time. The more time you invest, the better you become at selecting and differentiating products. As a beginner, you should ideally spend 1 to 2 hours daily on product research. More than that can be exhausting because opening multiple listings and staring at screens can give headaches. Consistency matters more than duration. You can find ideas from anywhere: your surroundings, YouTube, blogs, travel experiences, or even random observations. There is no single fixed method for idea generation. The only rule is that during analysis, you must follow the criteria strictly. Tools should only be used for analysis, not idea generation alone. Do not depend completely on tools, especially black box features. Tools should give you a starting point, not final decisions. When you open listings manually, Amazon shows sections like sponsored, similar products, and customers also bought. These sections often give better ideas than tools alone. Searching keywords directly on Amazon and checking second or third pages can also reveal innovative products that tools may miss. Now, to demonstrate product research, I am currently on the hot new releases section, which is one of my favorite methods. I do not expect to find perfect products here, but it gives fresh ideas. I'm using the Pro Leverage tool, which is similar to Helium 10 but simplified and more affordable, especially for the Indian marketplace. Most international tools are optimized for .com marketplaces and are expensive with many unnecessary features. Pro Leverage focuses only on useful data at a lower cost. I selected the sports and fitness category and started scrolling through products. One product that caught my attention was an inflatable car bed. Although it looks large, it is inflatable, so packaging is compact, which may reduce shipping costs. To analyze it, I copied the ASIN and pasted it into the Pro Leverage tool. Since it is a new release, reviews are low, and sales are around 227 units per month with estimated revenue of around 3.6 lakh rupees. The selling price is around 1,500 rupees, but with proper branding, packaging, and differentiation, it can easily be sold at 2,000 rupees or even 2,500 rupees. The current listing lacks branding, professional images, and a logo. With better photography and premium positioning, this product can perform much better. Supplier research on IndiaMart and Alibaba shows prices between 400 to 700 rupees depending on negotiation, quantity, and quality. Negotiation skills matter a lot, especially when ordering smaller quantities for the first batch. This is just an example to show how random product research works. For US marketplaces, the black box feature can be used with filters like review count, price range, and sales range. But again, black box results should never be trusted blindly. Further manual research is always required. Tools are best used for validation, not decision making. So this is how you can approach product research systematically by combining manual observation, logical criteria, and smart use of tools. Now you already understand how to do product research and how to select and finalize the product. But again, finding the right supplier is equally important, because with suppliers, you are building a long-term relationship. In my case, my suppliers are not just people I talk to for business. For example, when their new year comes in February, I wish them, and even during Indian festivals, they message me. We don't talk only during work. Many times, even when I find new suppliers for new products, I still use my old suppliers, shipping agents, and logistics partners. That kind of long-term relationship becomes very useful as your business grows. So in this chapter, I will explain how to find the right supplier, what things you should check while selecting suppliers, how to talk to them professionally, and how to negotiate. I will also share the exact templates I personally use while communicating with suppliers. Over the years, I have learned many negotiation strategies, and I will explain them step by step. Along with that, I will also explain how to make payments, how much advance you should pay, and which payment methods are safe. I have even recorded a live video showing how I make supplier payments, which I will show you shortly. If you remember, during the 2020 lockdown, many videos were circulating saying that imports from China were banned. But if you research properly, you will realize that most profitable products are not manufactured entirely in India. Even Indian suppliers usually import products and resell them. So initially, when your investment is low, you can source from Indian suppliers. But if you want to do this business long term, importing is unavoidable. That is why it is important to understand supplier payments, logistics, and shipping properly, which I will explain step by step. Now, coming to supplier selection, if you are importing from Alibaba or sourcing from Indian suppliers, and if you are just starting out with limited investment, then importing large quantities may not be feasible. For importing, usually you need to order at least 500 to 2000 units to make shipping cost effective. I will also explain later how to reduce shipping costs. But for your first batch, you can source from local suppliers. Nowadays, many Indian suppliers on platforms like IndiaMart also provide some level of differentiation, such as logo stickers, but this is selective. Not every supplier offers it. In many cases, you may have to do these things yourself. In business, although many things can be automated, some things you still need to do manually. For example, just a few days ago, I personally applied stickers to a shipment because the existing labels were damaged and not scanning properly. So some level of involvement is always required. As a beginner, this level of involvement is not mandatory, but when you scale up and start managing multiple products, 40 or 50 products, then doing some things yourself actually increases your profit margins because you eliminate unnecessary expenses. So in the beginning, you can start with Indian suppliers and later move directly to manufacturers once you scale. Now in the next part, I will explain exactly what things you need to check while selecting suppliers step by step. So friends, in this video, I am going to explain how you can import your products from Alibaba and Chinese manufacturers. The first step is how to pick the right supplier. For that, I will explain everything directly on the Alibaba platform itself. As you can see, I have typed Alibaba on Google. Many people think that Alibaba does not work in India anymore and that importing from China is not possible. That is completely wrong. Even during the lockdown, we were importing products. Most products are not manufactured in India. Around 90% of products are imported. Even the so-called local suppliers usually import products and resell them. Alibaba and AliExpress are two different platforms. So AliExpress is more like Amazon, where you can buy single units. Now Alibaba, on the other hand, is for bulk sourcing directly from manufacturers. The platform works very similarly to Amazon. There is a search bar where you can search for the product you want. For example, if I search for a yoga mat, I simply type yoga mat in the search bar. One important thing I have noticed is that Alibaba's keyword system is very specific. So you should avoid spelling mistakes and search with the correct product name. After searching, you should always select trade assurance. Trade assurance is a secure payment method where your payment is first held by Alibaba. Only after the product is shipped and delivered to you does Alibaba release the payment to the supplier. That is why it is a very safe option. And you should always select suppliers who offer trade assurance. You will also see filters like verified supplier and the number of years of experience. Alibaba personally visits factories and verifies suppliers before giving them these badges. These suppliers also pay a membership fee to Alibaba, which adds another layer of trust. I usually prefer suppliers with at least 1 year or more experience. While searching for suppliers, you should scroll a lot and contact many suppliers. The more suppliers you contact, the better clarity you get. I always recommend contacting at least 15 to 20 suppliers for a single product. This gives you a better idea of pricing, quality, and negotiation range. Now let's talk about how to communicate with suppliers. One important thing to remember is that suppliers are based in China, so there is a time difference. Because of this, response times can vary and you need to be a little patient in the beginning. Another very important point is professionalism. Chinese manufacturers are extremely professional and you must match that level. Even if you are starting as a one-person business, your approach should look like a company. Using a custom domain email is always better than using a random Gmail ID. A professional email builds trust immediately. Initially, you can contact suppliers through Alibaba's messaging system. After that, you can move the conversation to WhatsApp or WeChat. I usually do that as well. But the first message should always be professional. And for that, I use a fixed template, which I also recommend to my students. The template goes like this. Hello, my name is your name. I am the lead purchasing agent of your company name. We have a successful online retail business and are looking to expand our product line. I am interested in your product name. Can you please provide the following information? Then you ask for pricing at different quantities such as 350 units, 1500 units, 2500 units, and even 5000 units, including DDP air shipping cost. Even if you are not planning to order 5000 units, you should still ask. This helps you understand the lowest price range the supplier can offer, which gives you strong leverage during negotiation. You should also ask about logo printing, packaging, ASIN or label pasting if required, and make it very clear that you want pricing with shipping cost included. Shipping cost is extremely important. You can also ask for live photos and videos of the product. Ordering samples can be expensive because shipping alone can cost 8 to 10,000 rupees. That is why I usually rely on live photos and videos first. Since payments are protected through trade assurance, your money is safe. If you need detailed material inspection, then you can order a sample later. You should end the message professionally and share your contact details like WhatsApp or WeChat. Once the first message is sent, you can continue the back and forth conversation either on WhatsApp or Alibaba chat. This is the overall process of communicating professionally with suppliers and starting negotiations the right way. You don't get what you want, you only get what you negotiate. So friends, if you want to start Amazon FBA and actually become successful in it, then this is one skill you must learn, and that skill is negotiation. Many of you might be thinking that you will just watch a few YouTube videos and start an online business because the barrier to entry is very low. But if your competitor starts with the right skills and proper knowledge, then obviously their chances of success will be much higher. That is exactly why we see that around 80% of people fail, not only in Amazon FBA, but in almost every business, while only 20% actually succeed. In this video, I'm going to share some negotiation strategies that literally took me around 2 years to learn through real experience. By using these strategies, you can source your products at much lower prices from Chinese suppliers through Alibaba and stay several steps ahead of your competitors. When I decided that I wanted to become an entrepreneur and start my journey with Amazon FBA, I had no idea about negotiation skills. I didn't even know that negotiation was such an important skill for a businessman. I come from a family with no business or entrepreneurial background. In school or college, I never participated in speeches or competitions, let alone winning them. So initially, my confidence was quite low when I realized how important negotiation is. Then I remembered an incident from my childhood. Whenever I used to go shopping with my mother, she would always negotiate with shopkeepers. I clearly remember one time around my birthday when we went to buy a t-shirt. The shopkeeper quoted 700 rupees, my mother said 200, and finally we bought the t-shirt for 300. Remembering that incident inspired me. I decided that even if it takes months or years, I will learn negotiation through experience by continuously talking to suppliers, and that confidence helped me move forward. Now I'll share a few practical negotiation strategies that you can use to source products at lower prices and gain a strong advantage. The first and most important thing is looking professional. When I was registering my Amazon FBA business, I needed a bank certificate for IC registration. At that time I was in college. I went to Axis Bank wearing a graphic t-shirt, jeans and flip-flops. They made me wait almost 4 hours, giving excuses like the manager is not available. While waiting, I noticed that well-dressed people were being treated much better and their work was done quickly. Later, I visited HDFC Bank properly dressed and my work was completed within minutes. I am sharing this because many of you might be college students or complete beginners with no business background. The more professional you look, the more seriously people treat you. The same applies to Alibaba suppliers. These suppliers receive thousands of inquiries every day. If you want to stand out, you must look professional. That's why using a professional message template is very important. In my template, I introduce myself as a lead purchasing agent and clearly explain my business goals. Later, you can have back and forth conversations, but initially, professionalism is critical. You should clearly communicate that you are serious about building a long-term brand on Amazon. When suppliers see long-term potential, they become more willing to negotiate because they don't make real profits from your first order. They make money when you reorder in bulk again and again. The second strategy is asking for higher quantity pricing, even if you don't plan to order that much initially. For example, even if you are ordering only 500 units, you should ask for pricing for 2000 or 3000 units. This helps you understand how low the supplier can actually go on pricing. Once you know that range, you can negotiate somewhere in between. This strategy works only if you appear professional and knowledgeable, which is why the first point matters so much. You should keep sharing your plans and expertise so suppliers know you are serious. The third strategy is to ask for pro forma invoices as early as possible. A pro forma invoice includes unit cost, shipping cost, logo printing, packaging, and all other charges. You should ask for pro forma invoices from at least 5 to 6 different suppliers. This allows you to compare properly. Some suppliers quote lower unit prices but higher shipping costs, while others do the opposite. By comparing invoices, you can set a clear target price and use one supplier's quote to negotiate with another. For example, if you like one supplier's quality and communication but their shipping cost is high, you can show them another supplier's invoice and ask why their cost is higher. Many times, suppliers increase shipping charges to compensate for lower margins on product cost. The fourth strategy is to stay offensive, not defensive. This again connects to looking serious and confident. You should communicate in a way that shows you have multiple supplier options and you are deciding whom to work with. Do not appear needy by messaging repeatedly. Patience is very important. If pricing does not match, wait for a few days. Many suppliers come back on their own after some time with better offers. In my early days, I made the mistake of chasing suppliers too much. Later, I realized that when you wait and stay firm, suppliers often return and try to match your price. If you follow these strategies consistently, you will not only get better pricing, but also build strong long-term supplier relationships, which is extremely important for scaling your Amazon FBA business successfully. So today in this video, you can see how to make a trade assurance order payment. As you can see on the screen, I am currently on my trade assurance order page. Whenever you place an order and choose trade assurance as the payment option, the supplier creates a trade assurance order on their end. After that, the supplier receives a link and sends that link to your email ID. When you click on the link from the email, this page opens. If you are already logged into your Alibaba account, this page will open directly. Otherwise, it will ask you to log in first. After logging in, you will see the trade assurance order page where the total amount is shown and the option to make the payment is available. Here you can also see that the trade assurance is in progress and it clearly mentions payment protection, shipping protection, and product quality protection. This means your payment is fully protected under trade assurance, which is why this is one of the safest and best payment methods available on Alibaba. You can also see an option for production monitoring and inspection services, which is an Alibaba service. This inspection needs to be selected at least 7 working days before shipment. In my case, I already have a good relationship with this supplier and have placed multiple orders with them earlier, so I am not opting for the inspection service. Even otherwise, your payment remains protected through trade assurance, and if you choose your supplier properly on Alibaba, product quality generally won't be an issue. Further down, you can see all the order details such as shipping details. I have selected express shipping because I want the product to reach me as quickly as possible. You can also see payment records, order details, tracking solutions, and operation records. All these sections are available for you to verify everything properly. In the order detail section, you can see the supplier's company name, order number, order date, your company details, product name, quantity, unit price, and total price calculated based on quantity. You can also see the shipping method, which in my case is express, and the delivery duty paid option along with the shipping fee. Shipping fees are currently a bit higher due to the present situation. Earlier they were lower. But that's not an issue because sales on Amazon are good and profit margins are strong. So I prefer ordering quickly even if shipping costs are slightly higher. You can also see the shipment date, which is usually a maximum of 15 days, and that is completely normal. Below that, you will find the shipping address and payment terms. Under payment methods, you will see multiple options such as card payment, online bank payment, pay later, and telegraphic transfer, which I will explain later. One important thing to remember is that the payment amount to earn is always in USD. International transactions are always done in USD, regardless of your local currency or the supplier's currency. If there are any order remarks, such as logo changes or color changes, those are mentioned here by the supplier. That's why it's very important to carefully check all details before making the payment. I have already reviewed everything, so I proceeded quickly. Always make sure you double check everything before paying. After confirming all the details, you need to click on Make Payment. Once you do that, a new page opens showing the trade assurance checkout. Here you get options to pay via credit card or debit card, and below that, wire transfer options are also available. On the right side, you can see the product amount, logistics amount, and transaction fees. Card payments usually include a higher transaction fee. If you choose wire transfer, the transaction fee is lower, and online bank payment has an even lower fee. But that usually requires a USD enabled bank account. For beginners, card payment is the easiest option. Wire transfer is also a very good method, but if you are doing it for the first time, you may need to visit your bank. After that, you can do wire transfers directly from your mobile or laptop. Personally, I usually prefer wire transfers, but since this amount is not very high, I'm using card payment this time. Card payment is very simple, just like buying something on Amazon. You need to enter your card number, cardholder name, expiration date, CVV, billing address, zip code, country, and agree to the terms. After entering all the details, you click on pay. Once the payment is completed, you will see a confirmation message saying the payment was successful along with the Indian rupee amount deducted. You will also receive a confirmation email containing the reference ID and payment details. After that, it's always a good practice to reconfirm with the supplier that the payment has been received. This is how you can make a trade assurance payment. It's a very simple and safe process, not complicated at all, as long as you follow it properly. For beginners especially, I always recommend using trade assurance because the payment does not go directly to the supplier. It goes to Alibaba first, and only after all conditions are met does Alibaba release the payment. That's why trade assurance is one of the safest payment methods available. Now you already understand where to source suppliers for your product, how to make payments, and what the overall process looks like so that you can find a supplier, trust them, and work with them on a long-term basis. In this chapter, I will explain how you can ship your products directly from the manufacturer or supplier to Amazon FBA warehouses, whether you are doing Amazon FBA in the USA or in India. I'll explain how this process can be done smoothly and at a better cost. All the techniques and methods that I personally use and that my clients also use. I'll explain everything step by step. At the end of this chapter, I'll also show you how to create a shipping plan directly inside Seller Central. Now let's understand how you can ship your products from China to India. There are mainly two shipping methods. One is air shipping and the other is sea shipping. In air shipping, your products usually arrive within 10 to 15 days, whereas in sea shipping, it generally takes around 25 to 35 days. Along with shipping methods, there are also different shipping terms like EXW, FOB, DDU, and DDP, which I'll explain one by one. EXW means X works. In this method, the manufacturer's responsibility is only to manufacture the product. They are not responsible for transporting it anywhere. You need to hire your own logistics partner who will pick up the goods from the manufacturer's location in China and deliver them to your destination. In simple words, the entire logistics responsibility is yours. The next term is FOB, which means free on board. In this case, the supplier or manufacturer is responsible for delivering the goods up to the port in China. Once the goods reach the port, your responsibility starts. From there, you need to hire a logistics partner who will transport the goods from the port to your destination country. After that comes DDU, which means delivery duties unpaid. This is one of the most commonly used shipping terms. In this method, the supplier arranges the logistics and ships the goods all the way to your destination, but the import duties and taxes are not included. When the goods arrive in India, they go through customs clearance. At that stage, you are responsible for paying the customs duties and submitting the required documents. The logistics partner uses those documents to clear customs and deliver the goods to your address. Compared to DDP, this method is more cost effective. Then comes DDP, which means delivery duties paid. In this method, everything is handled by the supplier and their logistics partner. From the manufacturer's location to your doorstep, including customs clearance and duties, everything is taken care of. You don't need to provide any documents or handle customs yourself. However, this method is more expensive compared to DDU. DDP is also sometimes referred to as CIF, which stands for cost, insurance and freight. Different terms are used, but in general people call it DDP. Personally, I usually recommend DDU or FOB. If your supplier is providing logistics support at a good price and the margins are still working for you, then you can go with their logistics partner. Otherwise, you can find your own logistics partner. You can even find logistics partners directly on Alibaba by searching and comparing rates. If you hire your own logistics partner, then FOB is a good option. Based on the weight and quantity of your shipment, you can decide whether air shipping or sea shipping makes more sense. If your supplier is offering logistics support and the pricing is reasonable, then I always suggest going with DDU, where you pay the duties yourself. This usually turns out to be more cost effective in the long run and gives you better control over your overall landed cost. Now I will show you how to create a shipping plan. Before creating a shipping plan, there are a few important things you must understand. When you send your product to Amazon FBA, your product must meet certain requirements. Every individual unit must have basic packaging, and on that packaging, there must be two mandatory labels. One is the MRP label and the other is the NSKU label. I'll show you the format of the MRP label here. You must follow the same format exactly. It should include details like item name, unit, country of origin and other required information. This is a standard format, so you can take a screenshot and use it. The MRP label contains complete product details and must be placed on the basic packaging of every single unit. Along with that, the NSKU label is also mandatory. NSKU stands for Fulfillment Network Stock Keeping Unit. Amazon provides this NSKU label when you create a listing, and you can download it while creating the shipping plan. I'll show you that process as well. Let me give you an example. Suppose this is a bottle and this is the basic packaging of the product. As you can see, it has a polybag. We haven't done custom packaging yet. On this package, we have attached labels. You may not be able to see clearly on camera, but both the NSKU label and the MRP label are attached. The NSKU label contains a barcode, and along with it, the MRP label is attached. You can either join both labels together or attach them separately, but both labels are mandatory. This must be done for every single unit that you send to Amazon FBA. After that, all the units are packed inside a carton box. Suppose one carton box contains 100 units. Every individual unit inside must have the NSKU and MRP labels. And on the carton box itself, you must attach a shipping box label. This shipping box label is also provided by Amazon. When you create the shipping plan, that label is pasted on the outer carton box, and then the shipment is sent to the Amazon FBA warehouse. Now you can see that I've logged into a seller account that we manage for our clients. I had shown you the results of this account 3 days ago as well. Today is March 7th and the sales are around 6,500. Today's sales are not very high, but let me show you the business reports. I'll refresh it first. If we look at the last 15 days or last 30 days, this is a completely new seller account. In the business reports, if we check year-to-date data and customize it from January 1st to March 7th, which is not even 3 full months, the total sales are around 7,64,000. This is a very good result for a new seller account. We use this account to manage multiple client or seller accounts. As you can see, we manage many seller accounts from here. Some are existing sellers and some are complete beginners. Basically, people who genuinely want to start and build their own brand. We manage everything for them, from account registration to product research, supplier sourcing, logistics coordination, advertisement campaign creation, and overall product launch. If you are interested in our Done For You service, I have shared a link in the description where you can schedule a call. But I want to be very clear again that you must have sufficient investment. At least 1 lakh rupees of investment is required to build a business on Amazon. Only then does it make sense to work with us. If you don't have investment and you are thinking of starting with 20 or 30,000, then honestly, there is no point. You will not get results in this business without proper investment. In that case, it's better to do a job or freelancing, collect capital, and then start properly. Starting with very low investment will only waste your time. Amazon business definitely requires capital. Our agency service is meant only for people who want to build a long-term brand and a real asset. If that fits you, then you can check the link in the description. Now let's come back to how to create the shipping plan. First, you need to go to Manage Inventory. As you can see, I'm on the Manage Inventory page. There are multiple products with variations. From here, you click on Shipping. These are the shipping plans we have already created. I'll open one of the shipping plans and show you inside. Basically, there are a few simple steps. You need to enter the ship from address, the ship to address, mention the quantity, and download the labels. Everything is almost self-explanatory. Once you start doing it, you select which product you are shipping and which logistics service you are using. You can choose a third-party logistics partner, or you can use Amazon Transport Service, which is ATS. In this case, we selected ATS because the client brought the products to their own location and then sent them to the Amazon FBA warehouse using Amazon Transport Service. One advantage of using ATS is that you don't need to book a separate appointment. If you select a third-party service, you can use services like Delhivery, Blue Dart, or even deliver the products yourself. During lockdown, I personally delivered products to the Amazon FBA warehouse using my own vehicle. When you select a third-party logistics option, you need to book an appointment. Amazon shows you a calendar where you can select a date. Once that's done, you download the box labels. Amazon provides these labels, which must be pasted on the carton boxes. These labels contain shipment ID, product ASIN, ship from address, ship to address, quantity, carton box dimensions, and all other required details. After selecting everything, you simply finalize the shipment. Creating a shipping plan is actually very simple. The real learning is in understanding imports properly, which I already explained to you earlier. See, you can do all the hard work of product research and even find the right supplier for that product, but none of that will matter if your product listing is not created properly. If customers don't notice your product on Amazon, they won't click on it, and if they don't click, you will not get any sales. Based on my 8+ years of experience, I have personally created and optimized more than 5,000 product listings, and over time I've learned many important strategies. Listing optimization is always a trial and error process. You learn from mistakes, and sometimes I've even learned new strategies from my own students. In this chapter, I will explain all the important steps and strategies you need to keep in mind. This chapter is about creating high converting Amazon product listings. First, I'll explain the 4 major components that make a product listing better. Then I'll share 5 psychological hacks that I personally use to create highly convertible listings that generate 6 and 7 figure revenue. After that, I will explain 3 pricing strategies that many sellers don't even know about, including sellers who have been selling on Amazon for years. Before all that, I'll first show you practically how to list a product in Seller Central. The process is very simple. In Seller Central, you go to the catalog section and click on Add Products. If you are doing wholesale and selling under an existing listing, you simply search for the product name and list under that listing. But if you are doing private labeling and creating your own listing, you click on Create a New Listing or the blank form option and then click Start. Here you first enter the item name and select the product type. For example, if I type yoga mat, Amazon will automatically suggest relevant categories. You can also confirm the correct category by checking competitor listings. If your product has variations, you can enable variations here. Then you enter your brand name. After that, you come to the product ID section. If you have a UPC, you can enter it. Otherwise, you can select I do not have a product ID and apply for a GTN exemption. For GTN exemption, the brand name you want to use should be trademarked. You usually cannot apply for this yourself. You'll need a third party and it typically costs around 10 to 12,000 rupees. You can apply initially or even after getting GTIN exemption. The most important thing is that the brand name must be unique and not already registered by another company. You can check this by searching on the IP India Public Trademark Search website. You simply enter the brand name, select the relevant trademark class, usually based on your product category. Complete the CAPTCHA and search. If the name is already taken, you cannot use it. In that case, you can either choose a different name or list under generic and still get GTN exemption. Once that's done, you move to the main listing content, product description, bullet points, and images. My personal preference is to prepare everything in advance in a Word document. That includes your images, bullet points, and description. Then you simply copy paste everything into Seller Central. For content creation, I now use AI, but in a smart way. First, you need your high search volume keywords. For example, if I'm listing a yoga mat, I'll use a keyword research tool like Pro Leverage to find the main keyword and the top related keywords with high search volume. Once I have those keywords, I copy them and give a prompt to ChatGPT like, this is my product, a yoga mat. These are my high search volume keywords. Using these keywords, generate optimized bullet points and a product description for Amazon. The AI will generate content, but you must manually edit it to make it sound natural and authentic. One very important strategy I always recommend is using competitor negative reviews as inspiration. Go through your competitors' 1-star and 2-star reviews and identify common complaints. Then address those pain points directly in your bullet points or description. If customers see that your product solves the exact problems they faced with other products, your conversion rate will automatically improve. Images are extremely important because images are the first thing customers notice. You should slightly increase contrast and saturation so your product stands out visually. Your images must clearly show everything that is included with the product. Your logo should be visible. You should include at least one infographic image showing product size and dimensions. You should also include an action image that shows the product being used. Using models is optional. You don't need professional models. Many of my students and even I myself have used our own photos, and those images actually look more authentic and trustworthy. Next comes product details. You enter the manufacturer name, material, part number. You can create one for internal reference. Color, unit count, usually 1. Sport type if applicable, dimensions and weight. Most of this is self-explanatory and you can always confirm details with your supplier. Then comes pricing. You enter the MRP and your selling price. I always recommend keeping MRP higher and your selling price lower so customers see a discount. Check competitor MRPs and price similarly or slightly higher if you want to position your brand as premium. Premium perception matters a lot. After that, select the fulfillment channel as BA, enter package dimensions and weight accurately. In safety and compliance, mention the country of origin, for imports usually China, battery requirements, mostly no, and dangerous goods information if applicable. Finally, submit the listing. One important point about product titles: always start your title with your brand name because you are building a brand. After that, include the main keyword with the highest search volume. Then mention the product's main use and target audience, whether it's for adults, men, women, beginners, etc. This creates a complete and optimized title. You can use AI to generate titles, but you must always manually refine them. Never depend entirely on AI. Add one strong X factor in your title that builds curiosity and highlights differentiation. For example, during the lockdown, I sold yoga mats. Even though yoga mats were already saturated, I identified a key problem. Most mats slipped on home floors. Gyms have anti-slip flooring but homes don't. So I launched an anti-slip yoga mat specifically designed for home workouts. I highlighted anti-slip clearly in the product title. Even though competitors had 700, 800 or even 1000 reviews and I had only 60 to 70 reviews, I was able to achieve similar sales because my product had a clear differentiation and that X factor was visible in the listing. This is why listing creation and product differentiation must work together. A good product with poor listing will fail. And even a competitive product can succeed if the listing clearly communicates its unique value. Now the strategy I am going to explain is highly underrated because honestly, there are hardly any videos talking about this topic properly. That topic is CTR, click-through rate. CTR is so important for your product that whether your Amazon business becomes successful or fails depends heavily on this single metric. A few years ago when I started my YouTube channel, I was only focusing on creating videos. I was not paying much attention to thumbnails and titles. Later, when I hired an editor for my YouTube channel, he clearly told me that we need to work much more on thumbnails. His logic was very simple. If the thumbnail itself is not attractive, nobody will click on the video and obviously nobody will watch it. He applied a few strategies to increase the CTR of my YouTube videos, and that is when I realized why not use the same concept in my Amazon FBA business as well. Because if the CTR of my product increases, automatically my sales will also increase. So the first strategy to increase CTR is having versatile main images and strong titles. According to research, improving image contrast by around 40 to 45% can make images up to the 70 to 80% more eye-catching. When people notice your image more clearly, the chances of them clicking on your listing increase automatically. If you observe kids' YouTube channels like Cocomelon, they mostly use opposite spectrum colors like red, green and blue to grab attention and increase those CTR. I use the same concept in my Amazon FBA business. Even if my product itself was not red or green, I used these colors in the logo and packaging and highlighted them in the main image of my listing. When it comes to titles, my approach was very simple. Whenever I launched a product, I opened the listings of the top 5 competitors in that niche and carefully studied their reviews, especially the negative reviews. From those negative reviews, I could clearly understand what customers were actually looking for. The missing X factor. I then included that X factor directly in my product title. A classic example of this is the yoga mat. If you have been following me, you already know this story. In 2020, during the lockdown, home workouts and yoga became extremely popular because gyms and yoga classes were closed. But people faced a big problem while doing yoga at home. Traditional yoga mats were designed for gym floors, not for home tiles, and they used to slip. I noticed this exact issue in the negative reviews of top competitors. That is why I launched an anti-slip yoga mat and clearly highlighted the keyword anti-slip directly in my product title. Because of this, even with just 70 to 80 reviews, I was able to achieve the same sales as top competitors who had hundreds or even thousands of reviews, simply because my product solved a real problem and the title communicated it clearly. Now, another thing you must have noticed in many listings is mentions like free shipping, free ebook, free mousepad, free bottle, and so on. This is pure human psychology. People love free stuff, whether they belong to the lower class, middle class, or even the rich class. In reality, nothing is truly free. The cost is already included somewhere. But just mentioning free dramatically increases CTR. I personally include a free ebook or a small complimentary product that costs me hardly a few rupees. This brings us to the second CTR strategy, which is offering freebies. The third strategy is offers, which is quite straightforward. People love discounts and deals. On Amazon, you can run different types of offers like coupon codes, lightning deals, and limited time deals. I have already created separate tutorials on how to run these offers, and you can check them in the playlist on my channel. One important thing I want to tell beginners here is about pricing structure. When you create a listing, you always have two prices, MRP and your price. You should always keep the MRP as high as possible by analyzing top competitors. Remember, you are not actually selling at MRP, you are selling at your price. A higher MRP simply makes the discount look more attractive to customers. Now, the strategies I explained so far work very well for new product launches. But what I am about to explain next becomes extremely important when you plan to launch your second, third, or multiple products. In e-commerce, especially on Amazon, you cannot depend on just one product. The more products you have, the more revenue you can generate. That is where the fourth strategy comes in. linking to other products. If one of your listings is already getting good traffic, use the last image of that listing to promote your new product. This strategy I actually learned from YouTube. You might have noticed that educational YouTubers often say, after this video, watch this next one. I applied the same logic to Amazon listings. By doing this, the CTR of my new products increased, they got an initial boost, and I was able to rank them on the first page much faster. This is the strategy you should use when building a product line on Amazon. Now you already understand how to increase CTR, but it is equally important to know how to convert the people who click on your listing. For that, your listing content plays a major role. CTR brings traffic, but content converts traffic into sales. A product listing has 4 major components: images, product title, bullet points, and product description. Amazon is a search engine, and your product ranking depends on keywords, not just in the title, but also in bullet points and description. You must use keywords with high search volume. There are many tools available for this. In fact, I even built my own tool by hiring developers. In this tool, you simply enter your main product keyword, and it shows high search volume keywords in descending order. Once you have those keywords, you can go to ChatGPT and write a prompt like, "This is my product and these are high search volume keywords." Using these keywords, generate bullet points and product description. You can then copy that content, make a few manual corrections, and use it in your listing. This way, your product gets indexed properly. When customers search using related keywords, your product starts appearing more frequently, even on the first page. So if your product CTR is low and you want to increase it, and at the same time optimize your listing content for better conversions, these are the exact strategies you should be using. So friends, today I am going to explain pricing strategies in detail. On Amazon, you must have noticed that some sellers have badges on their listings like limited time offer or a visible percentage off. These badges directly help in increasing CTR, meaning click-through rate. If you are a new seller, understanding this is extremely important. In this section, I will explain 3 pricing strategies, how they look on Amazon, and how you can execute them properly. Before explaining the strategies, first you need to clearly understand pricing structure on Amazon. Whenever you create a product listing, you will see 3 prices. One is your price, second is sale price, and third is list price. The list price is nothing but the MRP, maximum retail price. This same MRP must also be printed on your product packaging. Whatever MRP you mention on the packaging should exactly match the list price entered in Seller Central. You never actually sell the product at MRP, it is only shown to create a discount perception. That is why the list price should always be higher. For example, if you are selling a product at 1,199 rupees, you can keep the MRP at 1,999 rupees. This way, Amazon shows around a 50 to 55% discount on your listing. Your price is the actual price at which you want to sell the product. If you are running a sale, then you enter the sale price along with the start date and end date. During the sale period, the product is sold only at the sale price. These 3 prices are very important and must be understood clearly while creating or editing a listing. Now let's talk about the first pricing strategy, which is limited time deal. You might have seen some listings showing limited time deal along with the percentage off. Creating this is very simple. After setting your MRP and your price, you go to the sale price section and enter a price lower than your price. Obviously, the sale price will always be lower than both your price and MRP. Then you select the start date and end date of the sale. For example, if you want to run a deal from November 5th to November 9th, you just set those dates and click save and finish. Within around 15 minutes, your listing will start showing the limited time deal badge along with the percentage off. When customers open the listing, they can clearly see the MRP, deal price, and how much they are saving. This increases conversions, and because the deal badge appears at the top, CTR also increases significantly. The second pricing strategy is showing a direct percentage off on the listing. You might have seen listings showing minus 42% off or similar discounts without a limited time deal badge. This method is also very simple. You just go to edit listing and adjust your price while keeping the MRP high. For example, if your MRP is 1,999 rupees and you set your price at 999 rupees, Amazon automatically shows a large percentage discount on the listing. Within a few minutes of saving, the percentage off becomes visible. Many sellers make the mistake of keeping MRP and your price too close to each other. Always remember, you are not selling at MRP, so keep it as high as reasonably possible to make the discount look attractive. The third pricing strategy is using coupons. You might have seen listings showing save 100 rupees or similar coupon offers. This strategy increases CTR a lot. When a customer clicks on the listing, they see an option to apply the coupon and get an instant discount. Interestingly, many customers forget to apply the coupon after clicking, so the product sometimes sells at the full price anyway. I personally run coupons very frequently for this reason. Creating coupons is very easy. First, go to Seller Central and click on Advertising, then select Coupons. Click on Create your first coupon. Choose the product for which you want to run the coupon. Select the ASIN and continue to the next step. Here you will see 2 options, money off and percentage off. I usually prefer money off. For example, if you want to offer 100 rupees off, simply enter that amount and select the option to limit redemption to 1 per customer. Then move to the next step and choose the target customers. I usually select all customers. You can also choose only Prime members, but it is not necessary. After that, select the start date and end date, review everything carefully, and submit the coupon. Once the coupon goes live, your listing will show save 100 rupees directly on the search results page. This attracts attention, increases CTR and improves conversions. The coupon runs only for the scheduled time period you selected. Now the next chapter that I'm going to explain is extremely important. No matter how much effort you put into product research, finding suppliers, or creating a perfect listing, if you don't do this process correctly, everything becomes multiplied into zero. You will get no results at all, and that process is ranking your product on the first page of Amazon. This is exactly where most people fail, and the reason is simple. This is the most critical step in the entire Amazon FBA business. You are choosing Amazon FBA and e-commerce because you want every product you launch to eventually become an asset for you. But a product becomes an asset only when its main keyword ranks on the first page. Once that happens, you can say, okay, this product is now an asset. My main job is just to restock, monitor, and optimize occasionally. Of course, you will still optimize listings, improve packaging, or make small changes here and there. But once your product reaches the first page and crosses around 15 to 20 reviews, you can confidently consider that product an asset. You will rarely find a product on Amazon that has crossed 100 reviews and still gets no sales. That happens very rarely. If a product has reached 100 reviews, it means the product is not just trending, it has long-term potential. E-commerce is always in a growth phase, especially in a country like India. Even today, internet penetration in India is around 50%, whereas in countries like the USA or China, it is close to 90%. This means internet users in India are only going to increase in the coming years, and naturally, e-commerce sales will also increase. So even if your product is doing 150 to 200 sales per month today, it will not stay at that level forever. It will gradually increase. I still remember a product I launched in 2018. Initially, it was doing around 150 to 200 sales per month, but today that same product has crossed 900 sales per month. The reason is simple: more reviews, more trust, and more people coming online and shopping through e-commerce platforms. So this long-term growth factor is something you must always keep in mind. Now coming back to the main topic, ranking on the first page. First, you need to understand Amazon's algorithm. Amazon does not care which brand you are, how many reviews you have, or how long you've been selling. Amazon follows one simple rule: sales velocity. If your product matches the sales velocity of the products already ranking on the first page, Amazon pushes your product to that same page. Sales velocity simply means how many units are sold per day. For example, let's say a product on the first page is doing 300 sales per month. That means roughly 10 sales per day. If your newly launched product can achieve 10 sales per day consistently for 4 to 7 days, Amazon's algorithm understands that your product is performing at the same level as the first page products. As a result, Amazon starts showing your product on the first page automatically. Once your product reaches the first page, more people see it, which naturally brings more sales. Of course, your listing quality, differentiation, images, and pricing must also be competitive, but the trigger point is sales velocity. This is where most beginners fail. Many people don't even understand this concept of sales velocity. They don't calculate it, and they don't plan inventory accordingly. That's why I always say you must start with the right investment. Imagine you select a product that does 300 sales per month, but you start with only 50 units. While trying to match the required sales velocity, your product will go out of stock before you even understand whether the product is good or not. That is a huge mistake. So the first thing you must do is calculate sales velocity. In the 300 sales per month example, to maintain 10 sales per day for 7 days, you need at least 70 units just to trigger first page ranking. And even after reaching the first page, you still need inventory available so the product stays live, keeps selling, and ranks organically. This is the core logic behind Amazon's algorithm. First page ranking is purely driven by sales velocity in the initial phase. How you achieve those initial sales, that is something I will explain in the upcoming chapters. There are multiple strategies like sponsored PPC ads, giveaways, influencer marketing, and more. I will break all of those down step by step in the next sections. Friends, from my 8+ years of experience, I have launched multiple products and spent more than 10 crores on advertisements, generating over 15 crores in sales through ads alone. With that experience, in this chapter, I'm going to explain Amazon sponsored ads, which we commonly call PPC, pay per click. In this chapter, I will explain what PPC is, how it is different from Facebook and Google ads, different types of Amazon PPC, how to create campaigns inside Seller Central, how to optimize your advertising campaigns, and different PPC strategies that actually work. Before I explain everything, I want to clearly say one important thing. If you are a beginner, never blindly take an advertisement service. In most cases, what happens is that the product itself is bad or the product differentiation is weak. Basically, the mistake happens at the product selection stage. In that situation, no matter how good your advertising is or how perfect your listing looks, you will not get sales. Most people make this mistake. They select the wrong product and then they think maybe if I fix my ads, I will get sales. Because of this mindset, they take paid services for 1 or 2 months. Even the service providers know that your product is not good, and they also know that you will take the service only for a short time, pay the service fee, and then leave. So in the end, your product still doesn't work and you also lose money on service fees. That's why I always recommend this. If you are a beginner or if you have launched less than 10 products on Amazon, you do not need any advertisement service. You can manage PPC yourself. The real problem in most cases is the product, not the ads. I have said this many times in my videos and I'll say it again clearly. A good product, even with a bad Amazon PPC campaign, will still get sales. But a bad product, even with a good Amazon PPC campaign, will not get sales. Now let me explain what PPC actually is. When you type any keyword in the Amazon search bar, the first 3 to 4 products you see at the top of the results are Amazon sponsored ads. That means the seller has run an advertising campaign and placed a bid for that keyword. The seller who bids higher gets a visibility at the top. This is what we call Amazon PPC. It is as simple as that. In any business, advertising is an integral part. I'm not saying you should never run ads. You definitely should, but you should not depend completely on ads. Ideally, 50 to 70% of your sales should come organically and the remaining should come from ads. You should never build a business that depends 100% on advertisements. That is also why I do not recommend dropshipping for most people. If you are a celebrity or influencer, that's a different story. For example, brands like HRX by Hrithik Roshan or products promoted by Virat Kohli don't need heavy advertising. Their fans already trust them and will buy directly. But if you are not a celebrity or influencer and you do dropshipping through your own website, then 100% of your sales depend on Facebook ads. That is a very dangerous business model. Now let's compare Amazon PPC with Facebook and Google ads. Amazon is a search engine based marketplace. People come to Amazon with a clear buying mindset. Ads are shown only when someone types a relevant keyword related to your product. Because of this, conversion rates are much higher and you don't need to spend as much money. On the other hand, on Facebook or Instagram, people are there to watch reels, memes and videos, not to buy. Even if they click on your ad, there is no guarantee they will purchase. That's why Facebook ads usually have lower conversion rates and higher ad spend compared to Amazon PPC. This is the biggest advantage of Amazon PPC and why, when used correctly with the right product, it can scale your business very efficiently. Now I will show you how to create your advertisement campaign step by step. As you can see, I have opened a seller account. And from the options menu, I have selected Campaign Manager. Once you open Campaign Manager, you will see a page like this. In this particular seller account, you can see that around 5,42,000 rupees has been spent, and this seller account was opened last year. This is actually one of our client accounts that is under our agency's Done For You service. By spending approximately 5.42 lakhs rupees, this account has generated around 18.97 lakhs rupees in sales with an ACOS of about 28.61%. ACOS, which is advertisement cost of sales, is a very important metric, because it shows how much you are spending to generate sales. As a basic rule, your ACOS should always be lower than your profit margin. For example, if your product profit margin is 30%, your ACOS should ideally stay below 29%. In this case, around 28% means the ads are profitable. However, when you initially launch a product and try to match sales velocity to bring the product to the first page, your cost will naturally be higher. During launch, your ACOS can go above your profit margin, sometimes 50%, 60%, even 80 to 90%, and that is completely okay. Once your product reaches the first page, that is when optimization starts, and you must bring your ACOS below your profit margin. That process is what we call optimization. Now, to create a new campaign, you simply need to click on Create Campaign. As you can see, we have already created and run multiple campaigns in this account. There are mainly two types of campaigns, automatic campaigns and manual campaigns. The difference is simple. In automatic campaigns, Amazon itself decides and targets keywords, whereas in manual campaigns, we tell Amazon exactly which keywords to target. When you are starting out, you should always begin with an automatic campaign. Yes, the spend in automatic campaigns may be slightly higher, but automatic campaigns allow your product to appear in multiple placements, such as sponsored sections, inside product listings, not just search results. With manual campaigns, your ads appear only for the keywords you manually enter. So the correct process is start with an automatic campaign, let it run, optimize it, identify profitable keywords, and then move those keywords into manual campaigns. That is the proper campaign setup structure. Here you can also see different campaign types such as sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display. Amazon clearly explains where your ads will appear. Sponsored brands and display ads are usually the headline style brand ads you see at the top. As a beginner, you do not need to focus on these. You should only run sponsored products ads in the beginning. After clicking continue, the first step is to select which product you want to run ads for. You can select multiple products if required. Then you choose automatic targeting or manual targeting, which is essentially choosing between automatic and manual campaigns. In automatic campaigns, you can simply start with the default suggested bid. There is no need to overcomplicate things. You can add negative keywords if you want, but as a beginner, it's not mandatory. Next, you will see bidding strategies such as dynamic bids, up and down, dynamic bids, down only, and fixed bids. This is mostly self-explanatory. Up and down means Amazon adjusts bids automatically. Down only means Amazon reduces bids if performance is poor. And fixed bids keep bids constant. For beginners, I recommend starting with dynamic bids, down only, especially if you are confident that your product will also get organic sales and you don't want overspending. Options like top of search, rest of search, and product pages appear here, but as a beginner, you do not need to touch these at all. Advertising is always a trial and error process, and advanced optimizations come later when you understand your data. A big mistake I see beginners make is that they try to explore everything in their very first campaign, top of search adjustments, bid modifiers, placements, without understanding results. This only creates confusion. My strong suggestion is to run a simple automatic campaign for at least 15 days regardless of results. After that, analyze reports and then optimize. You will also see a suggested daily budget. Start with the suggested budget, launch the campaign and let it run. Always remember, you came to Amazon for organic sales, not to depend fully on ads. Ads are just a support system, as you can see in this account. Since we have been running campaigns for almost a year, we have created and optimized many campaigns over time. But this course is designed from a beginner's perspective. Even if some of you are existing sellers, if you are not getting results, then effectively you are still a beginner and you must follow these basic rules. This is how you can simply create campaigns inside your seller account. The results you are seeing here, around 18.97 lakhs in sales with approximately 28% ACOS, are actually very good, especially considering this started only last year with just 2 products. The account was launched around February and now we are in March. So this is the exact process of how you create Amazon PPC campaigns correctly. So friends, now I will show you with an exact example how you can optimize your ad campaigns step by step. Let's assume that your product has already started ranking, you have created your advertisement campaigns and now your organic sales are increasing. Because of that, you want to reduce your ad cost, ACOS, and optimize your campaigns so that your ad cost stays within your profit margin. I'll explain exactly how you can do that. First of all, you obviously need to log into Seller Central, then go to the advertising section and click on Campaign Manager. Inside Campaign Manager, you need to go to the report section. In the report section, click on Create Report, then select Search Term Report. After that, you need to select the date range. If you have run the campaign for 15 days, select 15 days. If you have run it for 30 days, select 30 days. The more data you have, the better your optimization will be. Here I have selected 30 days and then you click on Run Report. It will go into processing and after a few minutes, the report will be ready for download. Once the report is ready, go back to the report section, download it and you will get an Excel file. You need to open that Excel file and optimize your campaign from there. I'll now open my own report and show you exactly how I personally optimize my ad campaigns. Now that our report is downloaded, the overall goal here is very clear. We want to reduce unnecessary spend, focus more on keywords that are generating sales, increase organic sales on those keywords, and remove wastage, meaning non-profitable keywords. That should always be your main objective. As we go further, I'll also explain the cost metrics clearly using the report. Here you can see that I've opened the report, I've adjusted the columns like start date, end date, and ad group name just to make it easier to view on screen. Up to total advertising cost of sales, these metrics are enough for optimization. Anything beyond that is mostly irrelevant for basic optimization, so you don't really need to focus on it. Before optimization, let me quickly explain the important metrics you need to understand. First, you'll see match type such as broad and exact. Broad means Amazon shows your ad for related customer search terms. For example, if the customer types something like band for glutes, Amazon may show your product for similar terms. The customer search term column shows exactly what the customer typed. Impressions mean how many times your product was shown, not clicked. Clicks are how many times customers actually clicked your ad. The relationship between impressions and clicks is your CTR, click-through rate. In exact match, you'll usually see higher relevance and better conversion, because exact match keywords are very specific. Then comes cost per click, which is how much you're paying per click. This is not necessarily your fixed bid, because when we use dynamic bids, down only, Amazon adjusts bids automatically. You'll see different CPCS for different keywords. You'll also notice some rows where the keyword shows as ASIN instead of a search term. This happens in automatic campaigns when your product appears inside other competitors' product listings under sponsored sections. When customers click your product from another listing, Amazon records it as an ASIN. This is actually a signal that product targeting can work for you, which is a separate advertising strategy that I'll explain in another video. Now coming to optimization, you should not blindly optimize only based on ACOS, especially for a new product. As I mentioned earlier, when a product is new and has fewer reviews, a higher ACOS is expected. If you start cutting keywords only to reduce ACOS, you may lose sales velocity and organic ranking. My main goal during optimization is to match sales velocity increase organic ranking on main keywords, and only then slowly bring a cost down. Now I'll show you how I optimize keywords one by one. In broad match, Amazon shows your product for many related terms. From here, I want to identify keywords that are profitable, move them into exact match, and also identify wastage keywords that are spending money but not converting. Those wastage keywords go into negative keywords. I will also review exact match keywords and remove only those that are clearly non-profitable. I'm doing this from a beginner's point of view because when a product is new, CTR and conversion are usually low due to fewer reviews. So if a keyword is relevant and has potential, even if sales haven't come yet, I don't remove it too quickly. For example, if a keyword has very low impressions and few clicks but is highly relevant to the product, that usually means the bid is too low, not that the keyword is bad. In such cases, I increase the bid instead of removing the keyword. Now let's look at some examples. Keywords like fitness band or fitness band for men may have very high impressions but extremely low clicks and no sales. These are usually irrelevant because customers searching for fitness band may be looking for a smartwatch, not resistance bands. Those keywords create pure wastage, so I mark them in red and add them to negative keywords. On the other hand, keywords like exercise band, resistance band, loop band, hip band, and similar terms are clearly relevant. If impressions are low, I increase the bid. If clicks are low but impressions are also low, I don't panic. I keep them active and review again after another 15 days. Now let's talk about exact match keywords. For example, if an exact keyword has thousands of impressions, decent clicks, sales generated, and an ACK was lower than your profit margin, that keyword is clearly profitable. Such keywords should be marked green, bids can be increased, and even budget can be increased if needed, because these keywords are driving profitable sales. Even if a keyword has low impressions and no sales yet but is clearly relevant, I still keep it active and slightly increase the bid. Especially for new products, removing keywords too early is a big mistake. The way I optimize is simple. I look at impressions, clicks, sales and relevance together, not just ACOS alone. ACOS becomes important later once the product stabilizes and reviews increase. At the launch stage, sales velocity and ranking matter more than pure profitability. I don't explain every single keyword here, but by now you should understand the logic I'm using. Broad keywords help you discover profitable terms, exact keywords help you scale profits, and negative keywords help you eliminate wastage. So hopefully this simple optimization strategy makes sense to you. Beginners should definitely use this approach. If your product is new, do not obsess over ACOS in the beginning. Many profitable keywords get killed early just because sellers panic and over-optimize. With time, reviews increase, CTR improves, conversion improves, and then ACOS naturally comes down. That's the mindset you need to keep while optimizing Amazon PPC campaigns. So in the next chapter, I will explain to you how to run giveaways and influencer marketing. Let's assume you have selected a product that already has more than 500 sales per month, or let's say around 1000 sales per month. In that case, to bring your product to the first page, the sales velocity you need to match becomes much higher. For example, if a product is doing around 300 sales per month, achieving around 10 sales per day for 4 to 7 days is enough to push your product to the first page. But if a product is doing around 1000 sales per month, then you need to achieve roughly 25 sales per day. And at that point, you cannot depend only on PPC. Of course, if you have a very big budget, you can run heavy PPC ads, but a much better approach is to run giveaways and influencer marketing. What you need to do is very simple. Create a coupon code on Amazon, then work with influencers or content creators. Nowadays, there are many micro-influencers on Instagram, and many times just giving them a free product is enough. They promote your product to their audience, and through that, you can generate initial sales, which gives your product the boost it needs to reach the first page. The process is very simple, and of course, there are multiple ways to do it. If you are an existing seller and already have customer data, you can also reach out to your existing customers, send them emails, and give them coupon codes to generate initial sales. The main thing you need to understand here is the concept of giveaways and influencer marketing. And once you understand that concept, execution becomes easy. Now I have explained to you how your product can rank on the first page, how Amazon's algorithm works, and what strategies you can use to bring your product to the first page, whether it is matching sales velocity through advertisements or running giveaways. But whatever you do, the next chapter I'm going to explain is extremely important, because even if your product reaches the first page, there will be no benefit if you don't do this properly. Sales will not come. And that topic is reviews. When you launch a product, you must have at least 5 to 7 reviews before you start implementing any ranking strategy, whether you are running ads or giveaways. Because if your product has 0 reviews and a new customer clicks on your listing and sees, "Be the first one to leave a review," the chances of them buying are very low. I personally never buy a product with 0 reviews, and I assume you are the same. That is why you must first get those initial reviews, and only after that should you implement ranking strategies. You do not need fake review agencies at all. Those are against Amazon's guidelines. Even Amazon's early reviewer program exists, where you pay Amazon and they handle reviews. But instead of that, it is better to ask friends, family, or content creators honestly. Just make sure you don't suddenly take 20, 30, or 50 reviews at once, because that is a red flag. 5 to 7 honest reviews are enough. Once you have those, then you can run ads, giveaways, or influencer marketing to bring your product to the first page and keep it there. Otherwise, even if your product reaches the first page with 0 reviews, people may click but won't purchase, and your product will again drop to the second or third page. So first get reviews and only then implement the rest of the strategies. Now I will explain how you can get reviews when you launch a new product. The first strategy is using an email sequence for your customers. This helps you build a relationship with them and politely ask for honest reviews. I personally use a simple email sequence and I'll explain the structure. The first email has a subject line like, "Thank you for your order of product name." In the email, you thank them for purchasing from your brand. Inform them that the product has been shipped and let them know that customer satisfaction is your top priority. You also include the tracking link and end the email in a friendly, personal way. Using a human name like Anandi from company name. Using a human name makes it feel more personal. This email is usually sent one day after the order. Due to Amazon's updated guidelines, you may not always be able to use the buyer's first name unless you are using third-party email tools outside Amazon system. The second email is sent after delivery and focuses on care and concern. You ask whether the product arrived safely, mention that you personally follow up on orders to ensure quality delivery, and encourage the customer to reach out if there are any issues. This creates trust and emotional connection. You emphasize that your small team works hard to create high-quality products for families and customers who matter most. Again, the tone is caring, human, and non-pushy. The third email sent after delivery is the most important one. In this email, you thank the customer for their patience and explain that reviews are the lifeline of your small family business. You then politely ask them to take 1 minute to leave an honest review if they like the product. You include the Amazon product review link and clearly say that even if they don't have time, you still appreciate them supporting your small business. This emotional approach encourages customers to leave honest reviews without violating Amazon's rules. I have personally used this same email structure to get hundreds of reviews for my products. Apart from email sequences, you can also reach out to content creators for reviews. Another very effective strategy is using product inserts. This is a simple thank you card placed inside your product packaging, similar to how Apple or Samsung includes small cards or manuals. In this card, you politely encourage customers to leave an honest review. You must never incentivize reviews, but even a simple reminder increases review rate significantly. I actually learned this strategy from a competitor. In 2021, when we launched similar products at the same time, their sales were similar to mine, but their review rate was much higher. They were getting 10 to 15 reviews for every 100 orders. To understand why, I ordered their product myself and discovered they were using product inserts. I adopted the same strategy and it worked extremely well. Product inserts can also help you collect customer details like email or phone number. If you offer something like a free ebook or warranty registration, you can add a QR code or link that takes customers to a landing page where they voluntarily submit their details. This helps you build your own customer database. You can also include your brand's Instagram handle in the insert, so customers follow you on Instagram. Once they follow you, you can later reach out through DMs for honest reviews or promote new product launches. There are multiple ways to use this strategy effectively, especially when launching new products, offering initial discounts, or generating early sales momentum. The first strategy is removing negative reviews from your Amazon listing by directly contacting the customer on social media. Here I have opened one listing as an example, which is a resistance band product. In the negative review section, you can see that a person named Darshit Parmar has left a negative review. What you need to do is use this first name and last name and try to search for this person on social media platforms. Of course, this can be a bit time consuming and sometimes it is difficult to find the exact person, which is why I always recommend that whatever product you are selling, you should have a brand Instagram account or a Facebook page. I personally prefer Instagram for this purpose. Once you find the person, the first step is to contact them politely and introduce yourself properly, who you are and which brand you represent. Then instead of directly talking about the review, you should first try to understand what problem they faced that made them leave a negative review. Your priority should be to resolve their issue genuinely. Whether it is a replacement, a defect, or any other problem with the product, you should address it properly and offer a solution. After you have helped them, you can politely explain that the negative review is affecting your small business and kindly ask them if they would consider revising their review. Most people understand this and are willing to update or change their review if their issue is resolved. You must never incentivize them in any way. No free products, no cashback, no discounts in exchange for reviews, because that is strictly against Amazon's guidelines. If you follow this method correctly and genuinely help the customer, there is almost a 90% chance that they will reconsider their review. Many times, they even change it to a 5-star review and continue purchasing your products in the long run. I personally use this method in my business and I have been using it for many years. My clients also use the same method and it has proven to be one of the most effective ways to remove negative reviews from Amazon listings. Now, if the person who left the negative review has not mentioned their name clearly or you are unable to identify them on social media, I will explain another method. But before that, let me explain the second strategy, which is collecting your customers' contact details. As you already know, when you sell products through Amazon FBA, you do not get direct access to customer details such as their phone number, email ID, or full address. Amazon only provides the customer's name and an encrypted email ID. Any email you send goes through Amazon first, and Amazon filters the content to ensure it follows their guidelines. Because of this, you never really get the customer's actual contact details. To solve this problem, you need to create a system where customers voluntarily share their contact details. If you have access to customer contact details, you can understand their real problems quickly. If they leave a negative review, you can reach out directly, provide a solution, and politely request them to reconsider the review. This makes the process much easier. The most effective way to do this is by offering something like a warranty, a free ebook, or a complimentary bonus. To claim this, the customer needs to visit a landing page where they enter their name, mobile number, and email ID. This creates a simple flow where the customer willingly provides their details. You can promote this through a product insert placed inside your packaging. On the insert, you can mention something like get warranty by visiting this page, or download your free ebook here, along with a QR code or link. This is completely allowed under Amazon's guidelines. Because you are not incentivizing reviews, you are simply offering value. Once customers visit the page and enter their details, you have their contact information. This allows you to provide better customer support, resolve issues faster, and follow up properly. If they are happy with the product, many of them will naturally leave 5-star reviews. This strategy helps both in removing negative reviews and increasing positive reviews over time. Big brands like Apple, Samsung, and Nike already do this by including website links and social media links in their manuals. You can do the same professionally without violating any Amazon rules. Now let's say you strongly believe that a negative review was left intentionally by a competitor or is a fake review, and you are unable to identify the reviewer. In that case, the best option is to contact Amazon seller support directly. I had already created a screen recording video explaining this process, and I am including that explanation here. In this method, you first go to your seller central dashboard and check your sales to show that your business is active and legitimate. Then you go to the help section, select selling on Amazon, and browse for issues related to product listing or inventory, followed by product reviews. Here you select the ASIN of the product, copy and paste the review title, reviewer name, date of the review, and the direct URL of the review. In the explanation section, you honestly mention that you believe this is a fake or competitor-driven negative review and request Amazon to investigate it. Amazon seller support reviews such cases seriously, especially for new products. In around 90 to 95% of cases, if the review violates Amazon policies or appears suspicious, Amazon removes it within 5 to 7 days. This method works extremely well when used correctly and honestly. Look friends, one important thing I want to tell you is that when you are planning to do Amazon FBA, you should not think only like a seller. You must think like an entrepreneur. Because of this mindset, there are many strategies that you need to implement right from the beginning. And the most important one is building an asset. I see many beginners who only think, I will sell products and earn some money. That is not the right approach. Your customers are your most valuable asset, and you must make sure that you build a community and create a proper customer database. You must have seen recently how Elon Musk bought Twitter. Even though he had enough money, he could have easily hired developers and built an app similar to Twitter, or even better, within a short time. But the main reason he bought Twitter was not the app, it was the users. Twitter already had a massive digital asset in the form of its user base, which made it extremely valuable. The same concept applies to Amazon FBA and e-commerce businesses. When you are entering this business, you must focus on collecting data and building long-term value. Now, how do you do this? You can redirect your customers to a landing page. If you notice branded products, they usually include a manual inside the box where they mention their Instagram page or ask customers to visit a website to activate warranty. You need to use the same strategy as a beginner. You can offer an ebook related to your product or provide warranty registration. I personally do this for almost all my products. If the product has a relevant ebook or warranty, my customers are required to visit a website where a landing page is created, and there they enter their details such as name, mobile number, and email ID. After that, they can access the ebook or claim the warranty. You should use a similar strategy because later when you launch your next product, you can use your existing customer data. Since these customers have already purchased one of your products, they are more likely to buy your new product as well. When you launch a new product, you can offer them exclusive coupon codes or special discounts, and the conversion rate will be much higher. Because they already trust your brand, they will be interested in buying your new product, especially when they are getting a discount. This helps you get an initial boost very quickly, and your product can start ranking faster. You can do this in multiple ways, and it depends on your creativity. But again, everything must stay within Amazon's guidelines. You should never incentivize reviews. You must never tell people that you will give cashback or rewards in exchange for reviews. That is strictly not allowed. At the same time, you should also start thinking beyond Amazon and explore multi-channel fulfillment. Think bigger. Amazon is a very powerful platform for you in the beginning, and that is why you are using it, because every day around 60 to 70 million people browse Amazon. You are leveraging that traffic initially. But once your brand is built, your products are ranked, and you have customer data, you don't have to depend only on Amazon. You can explore other platforms as well. You can create your own website, build your brand on social media, and generate sales directly from there, where your profit margins will be even higher. To do all this, you must be prepared from the beginning. You need to remove the mindset that this is only for a few months. This is a long-term business. I truly hope this course has been helpful for you. I have tried to consolidate all my knowledge, experience and strategies in this video, especially from a beginner's perspective. All my resources are linked in the description. You can also book a one-on-one consultation call with me. The link is available in the description. Stay connected with me and I will continue sharing more e-commerce knowledge and real-world experience with you. Thank you so much, friends. We'll meet again.